A very beautiful song by Pastor Nathaniel Bassi. And a good morning to you, cherished viewers. You are welcome to the Koko Digest Morning Show. I am your host, Yaira Awuno. We are coming to you live from the studios of Clock TV, and you can also catch us on GoTV channel 184. And if you're not in the comfort of your home, don't worry. You can join us via social media, particularly on Facebook and on YouTube. Just search for Clock TV GH. Like, share, and subscribe to our pages and join in the live stream on those platforms. You can also follow us on all other social media platforms, Clock TV GH, and get interactive with us. Now, the conversations for today, as always, are going to be interesting as we're going to have an extended online and print review. So we're going to be delving deeper into the issues in and around the country and, of course, on the globe as a whole. Then also on the lifestyle segment, we're going to be talking about responsible living with our pets. So yes, if you're planning to get a pet, you need to know what goes into that. I know I love really tiny dogs and I want to get one. So this is a very interesting conversation that I am very interested in as well. And if you have pets, maybe there are some do's and don'ts you don't know about. This is a very, very good opportunity for you to learn and also take care of your pets much better. Now, let's prepare to be motivated for today. Now, as the week is about ending, we like to motivate ourselves here on the Koko Digest Morning Show and, of course, motivate our viewers. And today's quote is by Lauryn Hill, and she says, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And this is by Lauryn Hill. She's also an American musician, a Black American musician, and she's very, very popular among the Gen X and the millennials, even the boomers, I'm sure. But some of the Gen Zs may know her as well. She's a rap artist. Very, very amazing stuff. Now, her quote is a powerful reminder that identity and direction are rooted in values. When you don't consciously define what you stand for, your beliefs, your boundaries, and your non-negotiables, you leave yourself vulnerable to external influence. Opinions shift, trends come and go, and voices grow louder. But without inner conviction, it is easy to drift, compromise, or adopt ideas that don't truly align with who you are. Standing for something does not mean being rigid or closed-minded. It means having a moral compass. It also means knowing what matters to you and using that knowledge to make deliberate choices, especially in moments of pressure or uncertainty. Conviction provides stability, and it also helps us to say no when it's easier to say yes, and to stay true when conformity feels safer. Now, in a world overwhelmed by information, expectations, and comparison, clarity of purpose becomes our protection. Your values act as an anchor, keeping you grounded when circumstances try to pull you in every direction. When you stand for something, you move with intention, confidence, and integrity because you are led from within and not pushed around by the world. And I'm sure that this quote has definitely awakened something within us, as it has awakened something within me. I'm sure Peter here has also been awakened. And I'm hoping that this quote will give us something to, ponder upon as the weekend approaches so that we can stand firmly for something rather than being pushed around by everything around us. Now, let's prepare to get our weather forecast for today, which Peter will be taking us through, giving us an extensive explanation of what to expect throughout the day. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, Aria.
I hope you're well. Looking sharp this morning.
I'm tenacious this morning.
Tenacious, yes.
I'm standing for something too as well. So
I love that. I love that. Yes. So, can you take us through the weather forecast briefly before we continue?
All right. So this is today's 24-hour impact-based forecast for Ghana from the Ghana Meteorological Service or Agency, and this is to tell us how the weather is going to be like, and some parts of Ghana. And so to my extreme left is the map for the morning, the middle one is the afternoon, and for the evening. And then the colors you're seeing are very imperative. And for each color has a meaning. And so for the orange color, it means be prepared. Be prepared for any other, weather conditions and all that. And then the yellow means be aware. Be aware. And then the green you see means low risk. The green means low risk. And so it means that you can, take up your daily activities without, risks at all. And then apart from the colors, you can see some symbols in there. And then you can see the rain symbol, the cloud with that. So that is the rain. And then you can also see the wind symbol and then the dust. You can also see that symbol, and that's all that. They all also talks about the impacts of the, weather condition and, our daily activities. And also, we can also see the sector, the minimum temperature, and then the maximum temperature. So for the coast, the minimum temperatures, you can see 24, maximum 33. For the forest coast, 23 for minimum and 34 for maximum. The transition, 21, 37. It goes on and on and on and on. And so let's take a look at how the weather is going to be like in the morning. And so this morning, much of southern Ghana is under mist and fog, especially along the coast and forest areas, which may reduce visibility. Northern Ghana remains dry and dusty. And then for the afternoon, if you can show us the other map. And then for the afternoon, the country becomes mostly sunny, but not remains hot and hazy with higher temperatures. And that's what we can see from here. And then in the evening, towards the evening, a few isolated thunderstorms may develop along parts of the coast and nearby inland areas, while most areas remain dry. And then that's what we can see from here. And then let's take the specifics. For when you come to Accra this morning, for Accra this morning, can you take us through the other map? The other map, please. For Accra this morning, the day starts with misty conditions, which may reduce visibility, especially for early commuters. By the afternoon, we expect sunny periods with warm temperatures, and by evening, conditions remain partly cloudy with no major rainfall expected. And then when you take a look at Kaswa will experience misty conditions early this morning as the day progresses. There will be sunny intervals in the afternoon, followed by partly cloudy skies in the evening. And then when you go to Kumasi, this morning begins with misty conditions, reducing visibility. By afternoon, the weather becomes fairly dry with a slight haze, and this hazy condition is expected to continue into the evening with warm temperatures. And then when you go to Tamale, conditions remain dry and hazy throughout the day with hot temperatures in the afternoon. There is no rain expected, but residents should be mindful of dust and exposure. And so overall, misty conditions in Accra, Kaswa, and Kumasi, hot and hazy conditions in Tamale, and generally dry weather across much of the countries. And so basically, viewers as well, this is how our weather is going to be like from the morning, this morning, through to the afternoon, through to the evening. And so for the northern part, those in the northern part, it's basically about, dryness and dust and all that. So basically, that is what is going to happen today. And that is all we have for you on today's weather. Please take notes and act accordingly.
Welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. And if you're just tuning in, it's time for our online and print review with my co-host here with me. Now, I'd like to remind you, cherished viewers, to send in your comments to the WhatsApp number that will be displayed onto your screens or to the YouTube and Facebook live stream. We would like to hear from you. This is the part one of the online and print review. The part two will come later in the show, so that's going to be much lengthier. So you can also call and weigh in on some of the issues that are going to be discussed. But for now, let's get into the conversation. And before we even start with the conversation, we have our word for the day, which is fortitude. The word for the day is fortitude. And I have Clement Yabankwe and Peter Ntian with me. And I'm sure they are going to be able to define fortitude for us. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Yaya.
Yes, I hope we're well.
Up and grateful. Divine selection. Yes.
Yeah, so what's up? What's happening?
By His grace. Very wonderful.
So the word for the day is fortitude. What do you understand by fortitude? Today we are doing spelling bee. So you put it in a sentence, give us the origin, everything.
So, well, I don't know if Clement.
Oh, no. Go first.
So, I want to put it in a way like, today I feel like I'm battling with Jay-Z and those stuff and stuff.
See.
So
okay,
I want to put it in a simple. So I have, when pressure is heavy and the road is rude, you don't fold, you don't quit. That's fortitude.
Hey.
Might staying strong when the storm is loud.
Hey. Standing
your ground, head high, still proud.
Hey.
Pain might knock, life might get rude.
Oh, yeah.
But you push right through. Pure fortitude. So fortitude is basically about the mental strength, the inner strength to hold on onto something. This is just an example. Imagine, you losing your job, you have bills to pay, people are talking, but you don't give up. You keep on applying, you keep on, learning and doing all that. That is pure fortitude. That is the mental strength to keep on doing something.
Right. I'm sure Sakode is shaking at home because he's got a new challenger. Yes, Clement, what about you? What do you understand about fortitude?
Well, Peter has killed the beat. He did it during the weather forecast, and he has done it again. This is another version of what we call bars. So for me, let me go to a different version of bars. When you say fortitude, what comes in mind is fortune rise. Someone asks why fortune rise. Yes. Hey. Fortune rise because 4-4. Okay. The only difference is the other one is tilt and the other one is tune. So fortune rise and fortitude. But notwithstanding, fortitude to me, it means boldness. Being bold in the things that you do. So when you paid attention to the rap Peter was given, it's all pointing to the direction that sometimes things might not be all right, but the determination and your positive mindset to carry on what you are doing will put you out there. So fortitude, the other word for it is boldness.
Right. Thank you so much. So we got some raps here, and then we also got some motivation here. So now coming to the, school way, fortitude means mental and emotional strength that enables a person to endure hardship, pain, fear, or adversity with courage and resilience. Now, some of the synonyms or words that are similar in meaning to fortitude are courage, resilience, endurance, grit, and steadfastness. Then some of the words that are the opposite. So if you don't have fortitude, you probably are going to be labeled as someone who is a coward or cowardice, weakness, timidity, and fragility. So this is a word for today, fortitude. And I'm sure this word resonates with all of us. Like Clement was saying, hardships, even with Peter's raps, the ability to keep going even when things are not particularly okay. So yes, let's keep that in mind. Fortitude, Fortitude. So thank you so much for your amazing raps. I'm sure we'll start a music career for you very soon. Now let's get into the online and print review segment now. So any new trends, anything we've been picking up so far in the week?
Yes, so before this year, throughout the festive season, we were experiencing something that we actually made noise about, calling in the transport operators, Minister for Transport and Government to even come in. That is about mobility in this country, the rate at which people struggle before they get car in and out from work. And it still persists, even right after Christmas, it still persists. This time around, it's very serious. Even as at 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, you don't find cars at their various stations where people know that this is where Kaswa or Circle Car is situated. You don't find the cars. You go there, the only thing you meet are long queues, people waiting for cars. It looks as though there are no cars in the system. And then the ones you see today are charging exorbitant prices. Instead of 2 cedis, they are taking 5 cedis. 5 cedis, they are taking 10 cedis. So it is even difficult to even get those cars and even pay those exorbitant prices and get home. Things are very difficult. All because the drivers or transport operators have taken another shift. So instead of going to the normal places that passengers know that the drivers are, they would rather go to vantage points and then get people who are desperate to go home. And so if the fare is 2 cedis, they will tell you 10 cedis. Because you're desperate, you want to go home. You don't have any option. And then thankfully, yesterday, during the accountability series, the minister responsible for communications, Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, when he was having an interaction with the journalists, that issue popped up. And then he said that the transport operators and the Minister for Transport actually in talking terms, in collaboration. So during the festive season, Christmas, the transport minister ordered STC to, release their buses in town to ease the pressure on the people. But right after the Christmas season, we didn't see those buses again. And so the minister made us aware that the minister is in talking terms with the transport operators and would meet GPRTU today to find a long-lasting solution. And he also proposed the Metro Mass buses, which, of course, we were told that these buses are not in good forms. And so they are working on these buses to ensure that people get, as many as cars as possible to go home. And then he also said that the minister, too, is in talking terms with some firm in Egypt to procure some buses to help, ease the traffic congestion in here in Accra. And so it is good news. But until then, people are still suffering. It's very bad. Right. When you close at 3, getting the car to go home is very... This time around, people are not even complaining about the exorbitant prices. But getting the car to even pay that price is very serious.
Right. So, Clement, what are some of the suggestions you would make to the government in addition to just the talking and the negotiations?
I think this issue has been discussed on this set severally. We've engaged AMA, PRO, and the measure we were on grounds during the festive season on this same issue. So for me, I don't have much to say because since the transport minister said he's in engagement with GPRTU, yesterday in an interview I watched, that's what he said, he's in engagement with GPRTU, also speaking with STC, as Peter mentioned, and Metro Mass, already released some of the buses, but he's also asking them to release more. And in the government accountability series, when Peter cited, Minister for Government Communications said that some drivers, it's like a purported plan to do that. They are being intentional. But we are just telling them that for the sake of Ghanaians, for the love of the people, let's release the cars because you brought the cars for the purpose of us. So why will you hold it in that peak hours so that people struggle and you charge prices which you are not supposed to charge? Right. So I think that it needs to be condemned automatically. Away from the transport, so,
before we go there, I have a question for, I think, our general public and even for you, that what about the buses that are already here that are not in particularly good shape? What is the way forward for them? Because I think, as you said, we've spoken about this for a while, and we know that there are buses that have been parked at, these bus terminals for so many years, and some of them are even, getting more and more rotting or run down. What's the way forward for that? Is there going to be some sort of repair system, or they're just going to be abandoned there?
So, per yesterday's accountability series, the minister answered that question, that they are working on repairing such buses so that it will be in good shape to come and support what we are actually having. Right.
So I just wanted that to also be made clear so that viewers don't call and ask such questions. Now, you had a trend for us.
Yes, still on the government accountability series. Earlier, I think last week, we had an incident where it was alleged that National Fire Service officer has assaulted a journalist.
Yeah.
During the accountability, such question also popped up to the extent that they cited an incident that happened at Ablekuma, not by election, where a runoff, where a journalist was being assaulted by some of the voters over there, of which they asked that they've not gotten to know the update on that very incident. So they called on the minister to provide updates and made it known to the general public that yes, they are working on it, and on due time they would provide updates on that.
Right.
On that very story, he also made it known to Ghanaians that the president is not going to actually condone such activity where people are going to assault journalists, because as it has been reported in Ghana, they are the third arm of government, fourth arm of government, putting it that way. So if the fourth arm of government is actually doing its duty, and today there's an assault, tomorrow there's an assault, the next day what will happen is that there will be no communication to the general public, of which we are going to live in a country full of opaque. There will not be no transparency, because the means of communication will not be available due to this very incident. And my last thing, still on government accountability series, is the fact that the minister also talked about the issue where people are talking about the macroeconomic stability.
Okay, so before we come there, let's take a look at excerpts from the government accountability series, and then that's about the journalist assault or infringements upon their rights. So let's take a look quickly, then we come back to the conversation.
Of indiscriminate assault on journalists. Let me stress that, as President Mama himself has been at pains to point out, government does not endorse in any way, shape or form any form of assault or heckling or harassment of any journalist or any other category of professionals for that matter. The President has also indicated government desire to partner various stakeholders to reorient personnel of the security agencies on how they should relate to journalists. I think that the general attitude of some elements in the security services that journalists are a bit of a nuisance, especially when you try to poke and find out what is happening, which is your job. There are many, or there are some of them who are unable to tolerate or countenance that, and therefore vent their spleen on journalists in ways that are unlawful and seek to harm journalists. Government condemns this sort of posturing, and in the coming weeks we will be engaging the heads of the various security agencies to organize a series of activities to draw the attention of all members of Ghana security agencies that journalists are partners and that you have a right to nose around and fish out for information to keep the public informed. Indeed, all manner of people who work within the public space are subject to scrutiny and accountability, and therefore the work you do goes a long way to enhance that. Under no circumstance should you come under attack or any form of harassment because you are doing that, even when you are deemed to have violated some protocol or some arrangement. The response to that should not be a form of indiscriminate assault on journalists. Let me stress that, as President Mama himself has been at pains to point out, government does not endorse in any way, shape or form any form of assault or heckling or harassment of any journalist or any other category of professionals for that matter. The President has also indicated government desire to partner various stakeholders to reorient personnel of the security agencies on how they should relate to journalists. I think that the general attitude of some elements in the security services that journalists are a bit of a nuisance, especially when you try to poke and find out what is happening, which is your job. There are many, or there are some of them who are unable to tolerate.
Right, so that was the government, communications minister, that is Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, telling us what Clemens basically gave us the overview of. So we're hoping to see that happen. As you said, the media is, informally or even formally deemed as the fourth arm of government, and as the body that brings a bridge between the people and the government, it also helps with accountability and transparency. Like you said, if the media is stifled, then we're not going to be seeing what's happening in the government and be able to, ask or, require the things that we need from them. And what he's saying is definitely something that would encourage a lot of journalists. And we would also love to hear more and actually see it happening, because like we said the other time when we were speaking about this fire issue, that I think Miriam was here. She was saying that sometimes it's not now you're going to talk to the people. You want to get the footage quickly. And he also mentioned that sometimes it can get annoying. So maybe there should be some sensitization among the journalists and also among the personnel on how to conduct themselves so that you won't be found wanting as well. What do you think?
For me, that is why I basically love the reorientation aspect of it. And for all public holders to know that they have to be accountable to Ghanaians. And how is that going to be done? Journalists must come in, ask the questions that the ordinary Ghanaian would want to ask you, but because he or she wouldn't get the opportunity to come there, they pass through the journalists, come to your office and ask you questions. So I think that the reorientation is very imperative. And then when we start from there, both the security service and the journalists, we are going to know our differences, where we stand and how we are going to interact. So the reorientation is very imperative. And then we are looking forward to that. You shouldn't just be only talking. So as they've talked, they should walk the talk. We need actions.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that's what I would say. The last now I just want to say is the fact that there is a saying that Sawoko Obifia always make sure say Koko and San away. So in as much as government stands against assault on journalists also need to be very careful when they get to scenes and they want information for broadcast. You should make sure that the permission is granted to you on whatever you want to do before, because some people footages is for exclusive purposes. So even if you want to do that, I believe that there should be permission granted before you go ahead to do whatever you want to do.
Right. Thank you so much. So you were talking about another aspect of the government accountability series.
Yes. There was an issue that came up that there is a gap between the macroeconomic stability or the economic stability and the cost of living. And there was a question that many Ghanaians have complained that they are not seeing how the economic stability, the inflation getting to a single-digit, monetary policy standing at somewhere 18% is not reflected. And the minister said, oh, that is a lie. It's really reflected, because when you go to the markets, things have dropped drastically. During the festive season, people were able to buy more than what they used to buy previously. Exchange rate has gone down, and people who import items now don't need more of the dollars because our city is now going up. So that was another conversation that actually came up.
But then, speaking from the layman's point of view, the things we were buying when the dollar was at give or take 22 cedis have remained the same, even though maybe now the purchasing power has increased. The prices are still relatively the same, so people would still say that they are still spending more, even though the value is a little higher. So maybe that's the issue, because nobody has dropped the prices of anything. You go there, they'll tell you they have to finish their stock before they think of reducing the price, and by the time they'll say they'll reduce their price, what if the dollar goes up again? So for some sort of security, they keep it at that price just to keep themselves safe. Okay,
so I think Peter wants to say, but let me say
yes, the businessmen help us.
Let me say it before Peter comes in. So, in citing or looking at this incident we are talking about, someone can actually cite fuel as an example. That somewhere the early days of 2024, a liter of fuel was around 20 cedis, 19 cedis per liter. But now it's around 10 Ghana cedis with some pesos, range between 11 Ghana cedis. So that one alone, someone will tell you that, yes, it has translated. Because comparing that to now, it's not like that.
Yeah.
When you go to the market, you look at a gallon of oil, the 5 gallons, the big containers. People call it 4 gallon. Exactly. Yes. Over there, people buy it at 1,000 Ghana cedis or 1,200. But now when you go to the market, it's around 500 Ghana cedis, 600 Ghana cedis. So citing these two items, people would believe that, oh, indeed, it has translated. But on the other hand, let's talk about an item like kinky, of which is very common.
Yes, kinky is on your heart. Yes, exactly. You always mention it.
Exactly, it's very common because kinky now, though we know maize is now down, maize was in abundance in the north, but still kinky is 5 cedis. And that 5 cedis crown pony around. So when you look at that, is that angle, people are saying that, yes, it's not really translated. And from that perspective, others would agree with them.
Yeah.
And with that, I think that you see, always we talk about this price control or price mechanism. This thing needs to be implemented. Until then, we will not see the real impact or the translation of the economic stability in the life of ordinary Ghanaian. Because the person will tell that it's a coin person beton, I don't know beton.
Exactly.
So that's the situation we also have.
Peter, I want to hear from you.
Yes, I also want to take it from a different view that, 2025, with all this micro stability, they laid the foundation. They laid the foundation in 2025. So 2026, we are yet to reap. And as much as things have gone down, like you rightly said, the practical example you gave, that maybe I bought something, let's say last year with the dollar maybe very high and all of that. I still have those goods in stock. So until I finish selling that goods, I'm not going to do that. So I would say I'll plead with Ghanaians, yes, that let's from next month, we are hoping that by this month, all those who have stocked goods from the previous and that they don't want to reduce their prices, then from this month going, we start to enjoy the new prices. But basically, fairly, things have been good.
Clement doesn't want to be buying 4 balls of kinky to be satisfied. He
Yeah,
wants to buy one. So
why should I buy 4?
so at least they should translate there, because is it that production costs are still high? Because like you said, the people will say they went to buy their things, they will sell it how they deem. But then again, things that contribute to increasing your prices have also come down to a level where it should translate. But these people are still adamant about these things. So is it that there should be stricter enforcements with price controls and regulation? And even how do you regulate how somebody would? Let's use the kinky as an example. The size of kinky maybe 2-3 years ago versus now is like it's reducing. Even Calipo, these days I saw, sorry to mention a brand, but recently I saw I don't know if it is a new size or it is the same old one that has now become this size. Our usual yogurt, over the years, it has reduced in size, but the price remained the same. At a point, even went up. All these things happening, we are saying that we are seeing the, economic stability and all the plenty big words regarding that reflecting in our lives. But when it comes down to the issues, if, we even go back to looking for the rappers, you would see the differences that what is happening.
So one would also say that government has done its part. So it's up to
the
us,
people.
The consumers, or our behavior. So let me still use the kinky aspect. So we know maybe Sister Amma sells a ball of kinky for, let's say, 5 cedis. And now that things are level, she's still selling it at that price. So maybe those of us who buy from her, is either you tell her that, Madam, these days things are, if you are not doing, we will change. So we go to, so it's about competition. You understand? So if you don't reduce your prices, you lose your customers.
Right.
Let's
tell them.
So we have a video on Felix Kwasi speaking on this same issue at the Government Accountability Series. Let's take a look at that quickly.
Alleged disparity between macroeconomic gains and the cost of living and the reality on the ground. I think that, first of all of us public officials are required to show respect and sensitivity to the people on whose behalf we manage the public. So we are not allowed or permitted to exaggerate the impact of government policy beyond reasonable limits. So we can't say what is not there. It does not mean, however, that where there are clear, indisputable facts, they should not be asserted. Or that when people attempt to distort the facts for sectarian and partisan gain, the facts should not be corrected. It is not accurate that all the macroeconomic gains we've made have not reflected in the pocket of the people. That is simply not accurate. Now, I have endeavored to look for absolute, authentic facts, because I too am interested. You forget about the fact that I also live in Ghana, and I go to the same markets and I personally the same services that we all patronize in this country. So I know for a fact, and it is not disputable. And I say this with all the reverence and respect I can muster for the people of Ghana, that there has been a decline in the cost of living. I don't know whether you own a car, but anybody who lives in Ghana and bought fuel under the previous government cannot say that fuel prices have not reduced. Look, the vehicle I used for my campaign in the Abra Sebu Kwamankese conference, and the roads there were pretty bad. used to cost me 2,000 Ghana cedis every time I filled it. I use the same vehicle today. It cost me 1,400 to fill it. That is a saving of 600 Ghana cedis. Mr. Yeah, if you went to the pump in 2024 and bought fuel at 2,000 Ghana cedis to fill your vehicle, and today you buy same for 1,400, you cannot say that there has not been a reduction and that the stability or the gains in the macroeconomy have not reflected in your pocket. That simply cannot be true. What are the facts? There was a time when fuel sold for 23 cedis a litre. That translated, therefore, to about 115 Ghana cedis, or 103 Ghana cedis a gallon. Because in Ghana, we use 4.5 to determine a gallon. Today, it will not cost you that much. It will cost you around 67 Ghana cedis a gallon. That is a reduction. Again, in terms of the cost of everyday items, look, I have a list, hundreds of items. I have endeavored to check, and all of them have.
All right, so that was an excerpt from the Government Accountability series on the economic issues in the country. Now, my co-host here, we were, having a small discussion, behind the scenes about salary disparities and how certain people can afford certain things. Would you like to shed a little light on that before we move to the last story for this segment?
Yeah, because you can't only dwell on fuel prices. You understand? The reduction of fuel prices means the reduction of essential commodities like food items and everything. But fuel prices have been reduced, but we are not seeing that form of reduction. And also, when you take a look at the salaries, the amount you're taking is different. Maybe I'm taking 700 cedis. 700 cedis, I don't have a car, so I don't buy fuel. But then the reduction of fuel means that there's going to be reduction in other essential commodities that I can't afford. And so if they've reduced, the prices of fuel and I don't have a car, and then that reduction is not translating into our everyday life, then it means that I'm losing. Yeah,
even with someone who does not have a car, a pedestrian, look at the issue of the transportation issues where, drivers or these public transport drivers are increasing the prices way even over 100%. Yeah. And this is in a situation where fuel prices have reduced. So for someone like Peter and I, who we use public transport, how then will we say that we are feeling that? So Clemens, lastly, before we get into the next story, business.
Yeah, we've given all the indicators, but like the example you are talking about, this is a typical behavior of some Ghanaians who are refusing to make other people enjoy the economic gains, and let's say that it's not good practice. So let them put a stop to it, because gone are the days when fuel was 20 Ghana cedis per litre. You were not charging even 10 Ghana cedis from Accra to Kwashima. So why now that fuel per litre is 10 Ghana cedis and you want to charge 10 Ghana cedis from Accra to Kwashima? So when people compare all these things, they'll tell you that it is not reflected in their pockets, and they have a good point to make there. So the issue is the individuals in the country called Ghana. Everybody needs to be held accountable. In as much as we are holding government appointees and officials accountable, everybody in Ghana needs to be held accountable.
Right. Thank you so much. Now, moving on, we have another story here where police arrest a man over alleged attempt to sell his son in Akwetia. And the story, personally, it feels a little sad because when you watch the video on the story, do we have the video where we can display, or maybe a little later? Yes. So if we can.
Information on Akwetia TV, ya picking it up. It's a brand here. Police for dinner, Chiomode handcuff a gun saying a brand ye dinyambra sembi and answer with dinyamran sembia. Police for Achena, Chese, and Huako Kedre Mupa. Into Akwetia TV and Sakan say a brand ye if you qua mine, na neba, and soon a crap police in Ibaqua, one more than a quay. Now the Etienne and Anna saying Kawo. I was information on Akwetia TV, ya picking it up. It's a brand here. Police for dinner, Chiomode handcuff a gun saying a brand ye dinyambra sembi and.
So this video is basically telling us that this man attempted to sell his son because he was in extreme hardship. So he sort of went in cahoots with his friend to sell off the child for 1 million Ghana cedis to whoever would be willing to buy. And then if they killed or, used the child for whatever they wanted to use, especially harvesting organs, they would bring the remains to him so that he would show to the family, and then they would bury the child. Now, I think there was the information got to the police, and then the police actually, went undercover to become buyers of this child. And then when the negotiations were underway, they arrested him. So this issue, it's a little sad, at least from the perspective I'm looking at, because what manner of, desperation or poverty or hardship could cause you to be willing to sell your child? That was the main question I asked myself when I watched this and read a little about it. So over to you, gentlemen. This whole issue.
When, like you said, when poverty meets desperation, even the family member becomes a threat. This is very sad, but not that sad. One might say the hardship is as a result of unemployment and all that. Looking at the man, he might be in his late 30s. For you to sit down, plan that because of poverty, like you are saying, you want to sell your son. I don't know, but it also boils down to the fact that we've got a lot to do as a country, Ghana. We have a whole ministry dedicated for, children and social welfare. That's the Ministry for Gender, Children and Social Welfare. And there's this form of information or their duty, their mandate. Most people do not know what they do. So social welfare, under social welfare, under the Ministry of Gender and Social Protection, under social welfare, we have a directorate called the Department of Social Welfare. And these people are responsible for, taking care of the needy in the society and even children. And so most people do not know that it is legal to actually seek money from this ministry to take care of, your child in terms of needs and all that. Most people are not aware. So I don't think if he is aware of this kind of privilege, I don't think he would have gone to that extreme. If the situation is that he doesn't have money, that is poverty, and it means that he cannot take care of the boy and then the family. And so the place I have a problem is what he wants to do, kill the child. But then there's another aspect that what I'm trying to say is that if he knows of this social protection aspect and went straight to the police station to tell them, this is what I'm facing, so I need money or something. We have non-governmental organizations here in the country who helps to take care of the needy and all of that. And then this problem, we shouldn't dwell on the fact that the man wanted to kill the boy, but then it means that we have systematic issues in Ghana.
Yeah.
We have problems. So apart from this, gender, which is responsible for the upkeep of these families, needy ones, and the children, we also have how do you call it? We also have a duty as a country in terms of keeping the systems. I don't think we know the number of children we have in this country, the number of kids that are being given birth to every single day. We don't have that system to check those records. And so if you don't know some kids exist, you can't even, prepare for their, upkeep or something of that sort. So what I'm trying to say is that we should get a system. When you go outside, there's a system and they know the number of children in the country. Let's take, for instance, US and then, Britain. We have something we call the child support. It's because they have up to date the data, the number of kids in the country. So some of these things, apart from, talking about the murder aspect, we should check our system very well and ensure that all these kids are really protected.
Right. Clemens?
I think I like the angles Peter has laid down. He has punched so much holes into the systems we have, and even people don't know that social protection or department under the Ministry of Gender even exists, and they are right to even reach out to them. But the incident we are discussing actually is a social protection failure with criminal consequence. Let's make it point blank. This is not the first time we are recording these incidents in our public domain. This has been happening. And what has been the work of the social department? What has been the work of Ministry and Gender? What has been the work of the various NGOs? What has been the work of the opinion leaders in the communities? This only shouldn't end with a police arrest. This only shouldn't end with going to court and sentencing the father of imprisonment. But as Peter said, there is a systematic failure that we need to address. There is a situation that we all need to dig into it. When I was looking at the video, I just look at this small boy and what even thoughts will come into this small boy's mind that his own father is going to sell him for money. What thoughts will come for him to say that, okay, the point I've got to, I want to run for my life, or I want to escape, like I want to do something. There's nothing this small boy, as we see on the screen, can do. There's nothing he's going to do, because for all you know, maybe what the father would tell this small boy that, oh, this man will take you here, you'll bring you back. So the idea is, I'm going to a better place, and when I come back, I'll bring money. But the father has a different intention. So what I think the community we live need to take they have a role to play. Looking at this story, when you read the story, he said he has a discussion with a friend, and the friend leaked the information to the police, and the man was arrested. Yes, that shows that when you go to some communities, they take charge. In as much as is a very close friend, he has got to know the essence why he needs to protect the life of that small boy. That is why he was able to leak that information to the Ghana Police Service. What are we trying to say? What we are trying to say is that, yes, we can accuse the man of whatever wrong that he was going to do, but let's fix the wrong in the country. If it is a job, what is the way to go? Let's make sure job is abundance for people to do, because it's going to sell a human being for 1 million Ghana cedis. He would squander them. Yes, 1 million Ghana, he would squander the money. But the bigger picture is, let's opinion leaders, the kings, the assembly members, the unit committee members, all these people. You see, I always have what we talk about is the decentralization of our government structure. We have unit committee in every community that we find ourselves. This unit committee needs to take data of all these people who are in need, who can't take care of their children, so that they can report to the assembly members send to the district assembly, and the district assembly add it to their database, so that whenever an NGO comes to the district, whenever we have this social protection department, it's in the various district assemblies. When they go and they're taking care of kids, they will add all these people as part of the data and take care of them. But if you don't do our work well as a country, this thing will go and harm us again. And we'll come back and talk about this very issue again.
Right. You know, I think I will take it from the perspective of some cultural aspects and some of the things that this should shed light upon, which is the issue of child trafficking. Some years back, you know, there was a documentary on children who are being used to fish in the Volta Lake somewhere around the Afram Plains. And we have this issue of children also all over the streets of Accra begging. And usually we hear that they are working for a sort of crime syndicate where all these monies they beg for are gone into the pockets of somebody, and then they pay either their parents and things like that. So, and then there's also the other aspect, like I said, culturally, where in our, you know, traditional world, where you owe someone, let's say you owe me. So maybe I'm a rich man or a rich woman, and then you owe me some money. You know, you may not be able to settle that debt. So you would offer your child to me. Maybe I have a son somewhere, so use the child. It's usually the daughters that are sold in that way. That is something that is also seemingly a norm in our cultural setting, even in our society. Now, coming back to the selling of the child, is that not similar to giving them off somewhere, and then, you know, whatever happens to them is like, you've paid that debt, you know? Then the other aspect I also want to look at is that the education is not enough. You know, there used to be a lot of education on sex education, that, you know, we should protect ourselves and all of that. If we can, you know, reduce the high birth rates among people who cannot afford to have children, then maybe some of these issues could also be reduced. Because what use is it? Fine. You know, people would also argue that for the people in the, let's say, lower income, sex is the only recreation they have, sorry to say. But then also, why would you end up having children and then sell them off to enter into some sort of child trafficking or child slavery? These children, because this is supposed to open our eyes to the bigger issue that a lot of kids are being trafficked in ways that are unimaginable, whether it is sex work, whether it is to go and fish in the lake or in the sea. How many of them are casualties? How many of them are beggars on the street? How many of them are doing all kinds of labor that a child of that age, looking at him, he should not be above 6 years old. Looking at, you know, a 6-year-old should not be able to be carrying certain things, but they are doing all kinds of, you know, strenuous work that all three of us here cannot even do. And this is because their parents don't have the capacity to take care of them. This is something that is been open. This time this man has decided he wants to sell off the child. If the people he sells them to kill the child or harvest the child's organs, they should bring him the remains so that he buries the child. And for him to get to the level where he is prepared to receive the butchered remains of his child, that should tell us that the hardship has probably gone, you know, overboard. Either that or he is just maybe so greedy, looking for quick money. Which of these options could it even be? But then again, child trafficking is an issue.
Yeah, right. It's a big issue. There is another thing we also need to look at is the mental health. For all you know, let's look at the mental health of the person. Yes. There should be a quick search on him. Let's diagnose him and see. Because some of these incidents to mental health count. Trauma. Maybe they've been through some situation from their infancy. Maybe growing up, the kind of things they saw in their childhood, what their parents went through before they were able to put a meal on the table. Maybe he doesn't want his children to go through the same thing. So assuming he has 5 children, he wants to sell off one and provide for the 4. It is not an alternative. It is not justification. But all this mental health, trauma, what a person is witnessing around him, all these things can account for what we see on screen.
But you see, on Tuesday, Duncan Williams mentioned that if you don't have up to 100K, don't go and do wedding. This should also translate to family, you know, starting a family. If you don't have a certain amount of money, don't start a family so that you don't come and put...
And so we have a huge responsibility as a country. And so as I'm still on the ministries. So the ministry shouldn't be that they just go to the office and sit down. So I agree with Clement when he said decentralization. So the decentralization should work. We should have offices in all the districts to ensure that this ministry is responsible for the social welfare of people. And their mandate demands that they have to do a lot. And this ministry is funded by the government of Ghana. We have NGOs also coming in. And so ministries should work together. This is a system failure. Ministries should work together. We should have up-to-date data of the number of kids that are giving birth to every blessed day. And we should know their development from age 1 to 2. If we have access to this data, and then we don't have the ministries all situated here in Accra, and it is being decentralized, and each and everyone is given a responsibility. They can be checking up on these kids. It is doable. Somebody will say, it is doable. Let's decentralize. Let's give people the opportunity to work on this. So the first thing we have to do is the birth and death. We should have the register for the kids. We should know that this year, this number of kids were giving birth to and their development level. That is what, if you go to outside the country, that's what they do. And so they are able to tell that these number of kids are here, they are not faring well, and they'll check up on them. If you maltreat them straightforward, they will come to you. This is a system that we can do. And so when we see that you are maltreating, you can't take care of your kids. First thing we take them away from you.
But we don't even have enough hospitals in some of these rural areas. People are born at home up till now. Some people don't have birth certificates. So we would have to now go back to the conversation on healthcare facilities to be able to gather this data. But then again, all too soon our time is up. I'm sure the conversation will continue in the part 2 of the online and print review. Thank you so much for joining me here. I know there's a lot more you want to say, but our time is up. Up next is the lifestyle segment, where we're going to be hearing about how to live responsibly with our pets. Do stay tuned.
latest track coming from the camp of, the BIM native president, Stonebwoy, and he titles that Peace of Mind. I hope you have some peace of mind wherever you are, right? Okay, so today we will be talking about pets. And we're just going to be talking about how to take care of them or be responsible around them. And it's an interesting conversation. This happens to be our first time talking about this. And so you'd have to grab your notepad, something to jot down something, if you have pets with you. Now, we have our guest with us in the studio. He's in the person of Mr. Kwame Enchi. But before that, let me tell you the objective for this conversation. This conversation is basically to educate viewers and community members on responsible pet ownership by promoting proper care, health, safety, and ethical treatment of pets, while encouraging peaceful coexistence between pets owners and the wider community. Now, this segment aims to raise awareness, correct common misconceptions, and inspire humane, informed, and responsible pet living. Now, I hope you got that objective right? Okay, so let me also tell you a bit about our guest so that we move straight into the conversation. Mr. Kwame Enchi is a premier dog breeder and the brain behind Legion Rottweilers, I hope I got that right, a kennel union of Ghana and FCI registered kennel. With background in business administration and 4 years of logistics experience at Kotoka International Airport, he traded his career in airport logistics to follow his true passion. And we are going to find out how it is going, living business, business-like things, and then going into pet administration, pet care, and those kind of things. I'm going to know if it's really, really paying. Let me remind you that we are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. You can also engage us with your thoughts or your comments through our WhatsApp number displayed on the screen, and we'll gladly respond to you. Now, let's get straight into it. Hello, sir.
Hey.
Let's just start with your background.
Right.
So you did business administration business administration.
Yeah, I did.
And you switched into pets.
Yes.
Or logistics.
So I trained, like I said, I went to the university, studied business administration.
Yeah.
And I did logistics at the airport.
Okay.
So while I worked in logistics, I've always had pets. I always had animals, cats, dogs at home because I'm an animal person.
Oh, okay.
It got to a point where I just realized that, this is giving me some 1 or 2 cash on the side. That's not the focus though. I needed.
But that came first, and so
I needed more time to take care of the animals. I wanted to, spend more time with them. Your passion will always, feed you. So I decided to pay more attention to the animals.
And how is it going so far?
It's good. It's a branch of farming, rearing of animals. I don't consider it a business. It's just a passion. I love animals.
Oh, okay.
So I don't really mind if I'm making money from it or not. I just want to take care of the animals. So.
Okay.
Right.
Talking about animals, we have the wild ones.
Right.
And are these type of animals the ones that are scary or, friendly ones?
So every animal has a defense system. Okay. What we call wild, most of them are defense systems.
Oh, okay.
They're just defending their territories. So if you go to a house where a dog lives, the dog wants to defend the territory.
Yeah.
If you visit the cage of a monkey, it wants to defend the territory.
Yeah.
So most of these things are survival instincts of the animals, So they can be very friendly, and then of course once you domesticate them and they get used to human beings, most of them become very calm.
Okay.
Right.
So what does it mean when we talk about responsible, pet grooming, that kind of thing? What does it mean?
First off, we need to talk about what a pet is.
A pet is, yeah.
Right, yeah. So a pet is, so if we had this conversation 10 years ago, my answer would have been different. But now I can say that a pet is any animal at all because people are domesticating all kinds of animals, So any animal at all that can be domesticated, for companionship, for entertainment. And now people domesticate animals that are going into extinction, so they can protect the species. Yeah, so that's it.
Okay.
Right, come again.
Oh no, you can't continue.
Yeah, so now that we know what a pet is, the question is what responsible.
Yeah, living responsibly with pets. What does it mean?
Yes. So when you decide to domesticate an animal, okay, there's a way of keeping the animal. There's a way of making sure that the animal is comfortable. So you become a responsible owner when you bring in an animal into your home and create an environment where the animal can thrive, right?
I just wanted to say that we've seen people living with, so to say, wild animals,
right.
But you are saying that now people can domesticate wild animals and even live with them.
Yeah.
Now, at the end of the day, we realize that these animals tend to harm their owners.
Right.
What is it that the owners are not doing right to ensure that they are able to live, with their pets?
Okay. Let me limit it to dogs.
Okay.
I think dogs are very common in our part of the world, and there's a lot of cliche around dogs and dogs attacking their owners. Those
I don't
things.
even know where to place them. Whether they are wild animals, domestic animals, you don't even know.
Unfortunately for us, there are a few dogs that have bad character.
Oh,
okay. And those bad character come from the people who raised them.
Oh.
Yes, there are no bad dogs. There's a school of thought that says there are no bad dogs, there are only bad owners. So most dogs are a reflection of who their owners are. So when you have a dog and you raise it well, you show it love, you spend time with it, there's no way an animal will turn on you, depending on the kind of animal it is, especially with dogs. So I have clients who have to let their dogs go because their house helps are leaving. You know why it is so? Because the dogs do not know the owners.
Oh.
Yes. The people assume that because they paid for the dog, they are the owners of the dog. The dog's interpretation of its owner is the person that spends time with it, the person that feeds it, the person that plays with it. So if you are leaving for work when the dog is logged, and upon your return, the dog is logged also. People leave for work early. So at that time, most of the dogs are logged. And when they're coming back at night, the dogs have not been released yet.
Yeah.
So if you meet a dog on a bad day where, you can't be too careful. So assuming the cage is not locked properly and the dog manages to come out and see, so you're not the owner, you're an intruder.
Oh, okay.
So those are the things that mostly make these dogs, the stories that we hear about dogs attacking their owners. And as for the exotic animals, they have their own character.
Oh, okay.
They do not, how do I put it? They don't want to live at home, right? Okay. They want to be in the wild. Okay. It's just humans that want to experiment and attempt to bring some of these animals home.
We don't always want peace.
So we do not fully understand them yet.
Oh, okay.
But I think as time goes on, once we have a full grasp of how lions behave, how, we'll be able to domesticate them.
Are we ever going to get to that point? To know how lions behave?
Yeah, I think we will. I think we'll get there because some people are doing quite well with them. Several years ago, it wasn't like this. People didn't live with them at home. If you go to the UAE, people live with them at home, as their pets.
Interesting.
So yeah, we'll get there.
Now let's look at what to consider when you are bringing a pet into your home. What are the things to consider?
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting question. First off, I think you should do your research. Know about the animal that you want to bring into your home.
There's this video I saw online of a man, advertising a dog, and they said the dog had a little bit of
spiritual problem. Yes.
So that can be true, right?
That's a poorly raised dog.
Oh, okay.
So first of all, you need to do a research on the animal that you want to bring into your home.
Okay.
Okay. Your research should be based on love. You need to love the animal.
Okay.
Because you're bringing in an additional family member. You're bringing in, they're like children when you're bringing them in because they have peculiar needs. So you need to first of all love the animal that you're bringing in. So do your research. study about the animal, learn about them, you know, and be sure that you can live with such an animal. That's the first thing. The second thing is that your finances will have to be up because you're going to be paying some good money for some of these animals.
Okay. So in purchasing?
Yes.
Not maintenance?
Yes. So I'll get there.
Okay.
So your finances will have to be up. The first point is the initial, you know, cost of getting the animal. So paying for the animal.
Is it very expensive?
Some can be.
Can you give us a range? I know you are into pets.
So if you want to buy a macaw, which is a bird, a parrot type of, you should be budgeting between $3,000 to $4,000.
Dollars?
Yes, for a macaw. Yes. So.
Wow.
Yes. So some of these animals are very expensive. Okay. If you want to bring in a dog, you want to bring in a puppy from, you want to import it in, you're going to be paying an excess of $2,000-$3,000 to get it in. But if you want to buy from Ghana, it depending on the people that you want to get from.
With a little bit of spiritual problem.
Yes. So if you want like a top quality pet, you should be willing to pay some value for it. Okay. And then you need to also, so like I said, the initial cost of, you know, getting space where the animal will live, you know, creating a house for the animal, getting bowls, doing vaccinations, doing all those things, initial cost. The second type of cost involved is the running cost.
Okay.
Feeding, you know, routine checks. Animals like dogs have ticks and those things. You need to be treating tick, you know, regular deworming and all those things. And then there's the emergency fund, where your dog can fall sick at any time. It's another life. Your animal can just take ill at any time. So you need to have some cash to fund, you know, the dog's sickness. And then you also have to consider if you would have time for the animal. Because like I said, bringing in an animal is like bringing in another child. You need to be able to spend time with the animal. You need to be able to bond with the animal, no matter what it is. Now, some animals, depending on what that kind of animal is, some are more independent than others, okay? If you are bringing in a Rottweiler, they can be a little independent. But if you are bringing in a Chihuahua, those dogs are very clingy. If you do not spend time with the dog gets depressed. Yes, the dog becomes sad.
This conversation is interesting. So dogs can also get depressed.
Yes, they can get depressed. They can get sad. Most of these wild dogs you see around are as a result of dogs that have not been properly socialized.
Okay.
So if you don't spend time with a dog, you don't take it on walks, you know, it doesn't meet people. And so when he sees other people, it's triggered and he wants to attack. Yeah, so you need to have time to be able to, you know, spend time with a dog.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, looking at you being responsible for these pets, how does it improve your life as the owner and even the life of the pet?
Right.
You know, being responsible.
I mean, happy man, happy dog. Happy man, happy pet. If you have a pet that you take care of, you know, that you spend time with, the animal is... So you brought it in for a purpose, don't forget that. You brought it in for entertainment, for companionship, for guard in a part of the world. So for whatever reason you brought it in for, if you take care of it, the animal will serve its purpose. You have a dog that is properly groomed, a dog that is properly fed, that is properly taken care of. You know, the animal is healthy and you're healthy too, you know, because it's a companion. If you have a dog that's sick all the time, you're not happy as a person. So generally, you know, happy owner, happy pet, you know, that's it.
And let's look at some of the daily needs we can meet as owners of, you know, pets. What are the daily needs?
The most important thing is food, nutrition. You know, you need to... Every animal, you know, has their kind of nutrition, you know. The birds like seeds. You know, people own snakes. Yeah. So the snakes, you know, you need to provide their nutrition. And then the second thing is housing. The housing is very important. Where they sleep is very important. We as Legion, we raise our puppies in a fully air-conditioned room where the puppies are very comfortable. We make sure they sleep well. You know, just so that, right? So housing, feeding, and then healthcare. You know, make sure that they are properly dewormed. Every animal can be dewormed. So make sure they are dewormed. Make sure you take it for regular vet checks. You know, make sure that the animal is healthy. You understand? You don't wait for it to take ill before you take it to the vet. Once you have those 3 things sorted, I think your animal will be good.
From our conversation so far, I can tell that this whole thing is expensive. It's a luxurious life. Like, you need to have some money you're not using for anything, because you would have to be going for vet care, vaccination, screening. How important are these things?
So I disagree with having some money, some loose money. I don't want us to use loose money to take care of our pets.
Okay.
That's why I started with love.
Okay.
I don't think you take care of your kids with loose money.
Yeah.
You take care of your priority. They're on your list. So you need to have some funds, but it should not be loose. So once you love the animal, you don't really care how much you're spending on it. You just want the animal to be healthy. You want the animal to be happy.
Yeah.
So the moment you start seeing the animal as extra cost, then it becomes a problem. Because then it starts looking expensive in your eyes. So once you love the animal, you connect to the animal well. You just make sure the animal is happy. When it comes from a place of love, everything is very natural. So don't go for a pet if you do not love that animal. Don't go for a dog if you don't like dogs. Don't go for a cat if you don't like cats. Then it becomes, otherwise it will look like an extra burden.
Exactly. Now, I was talking about, regular veterinary care and vaccination, screening. How often should owners, do these?
Depending on the kind of animal you have. If you have a dog, again, that also depends on the conditions under which the animal lives and the age of the animal as well. If you have a dog that's pretty young, then the deworming. So for dogs, we do vaccinations once a year. So you have to do your annual vaccinations for the dog. And
These are your dogs on the screen, right?
Yes. These are some of our dogs.
Are they old or?
Yeah, so that's Thor, there's Lucilla, and then there's
they look almost the same. How are you able to differentiate?
Yes. You see, that's the thing. They're my dogs, so I know them. They all look the same. They're all black and tan.
Yeah.
Rottweilers look black and tan. They're all black and tan dogs. But by their sizes, by their faces, there's something peculiar about them that, that differentiates them. So that's Lucilla walking towards the camera.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then there's Thor at the back there. This is a few of our dogs.
So you were talking about dogs being screened or vaccinated once a year.
Yes. So you have to do the vaccination. I mean, the veterinary doctors can throw more light on that.
Okay.
But you need to do your annual vaccinations. You have to do your regular deworming. If it's a puppy, you deworm monthly. If it's an adult, 2 to 3 months, vaccination is okay. Yeah.
Okay, so we live in a country where we share our communities, like we have neighbors and the rest. It is just recently that a lot of people are now having enclosed buildings. Let's say, assuming I live in a compound house, I want to own a pet like a dog. How can I properly handle such a pet so that it doesn't harm my neighbors or those around me?
Okay. If you live in a compound house, I think you can own a cat. For dogs, you can attempt to own a toy dog.
Okay.
So the toy dog class is the Shih Tzu, the Maltese, the Frenchie, the Chihuahua, those small dogs, small-looking dogs. But you can't own a guard dog in a compound house.
Okay.
Then it becomes a problem because you will not be able to tell who the dog is familiar with and who the dog is not. And with kids, they like to trigger these animals, so that we're going to have a problem. So there are some kind of animals that you can keep in such an environment, indoors, like a cat, animals that do not attack, you can keep those ones in the, like a bird, you can keep a bird, you can keep a squirrel, you can keep, people even keep rabbits, stuff like that. You can keep those animals in there. But once you want to keep a big dog, I'm afraid you have to get a more secured enclosure, where probably a gated space where you are alone, where you are with your family, so that you can keep an eye on the dog. The dog doesn't harm somebody. Yeah.
But is it advisable to share the same room with your pets?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. once the animal is properly taken care of, the animal is properly groomed, the animal is cleaned regularly. You know, we bathe the dogs. So once you take care of the animal, it's groomed well, it doesn't smell bad. Okay. You know, you can share your space with your pets. People have their dogs just next to their bed. You know, yeah. So it comes with training the animal. You do potty training, so the animal do not, you know, mess up the place. Yeah. It still comes with the time. When we have time, you'll be able to do the potty training. You'll be able to clean when the animal is doing all of that. You know, so with time, the animal picks, you know, learns from what you teach it, and then you can absolutely live in the same place with them.
Speaking about training, we have 9 to 5 people, 9 to 5ers. I mean, those people who are always on the run, yet they want to have pets. How can they train their pets in a way to suit them? Because earlier you mentioned that you wake up early, you go to work, you come back, you know, that kind of thing. Or should such people avoid having pets?
No.
Okay.
Such people can have pets. These animals do not require the whole day. They only require very little but quality time. So you have a dog, you're a very busy person, you come home, spend like 10, 20 minutes with a dog. That's enough. Doing what? Like, let's look at some of the activities. What can we do? Bonding with the animal, rubbing, you know, the animal, playing with the animal, you know, feeding the animal. That's a very good time to bond. Okay. You know, make sure that you, the owner, spends time feeding the animal, giving it treats, giving it chicken, you know, all those things. That's what the animal interprets as bonding. You know, just by even having an animal lie by your side and rubbing your hand through its head is enough. You know, it's not, you don't have to do too much. Some people even talk to their pets or talk with them. Yes, and they understand words. Really? Yes, they understand gestures, you know. Okay. They learn a lot. That's why I told you that animals are a reflection of their owners. You know, so it can be trained by yourself. Or if you think that you can have time to train the animal yourself, there are professional trainers around that can train your animal for you. The pet space is a really big space. A lot of people do not know about it. It's a whole industry, you know, out there. And do you think Ghana as a country has come to that realization that, having pets like is a good thing, it has come to stay? Have we accepted that? It's a growing culture. It's still a growing culture. Thank God for globalization. We're learning a lot from, you know, the foreigners. Going the days where we tie our dogs to a tree, you know, behind the house or something. Now people are beginning to understand proper health care or proper general well-being for the animals. So I think it's come to stay. It will get better, you know, and we can only get better. Okay. Right. So we have another question here which says, what should be done if a pet becomes aggressive, sick, or uncontrollable? Okay. Like I said, so when a pet becomes aggressive, there are pet trainers that do behavioral corrections. Oh. They're able to correct. Wait, let me get you right. Right. Pet trainers. Yes. Those that have not stayed with the pets. Yes. They don't know anything about the pets. Yes. They are able to correct their behavior. Professionally trained people that are able to do behavioral corrections. Wow. Yes. So, you know, it's just a behavior that the animal has picked up. Okay. There's a reason why the animal is behaving that way. So there are people that can investigate, you know, the problem and correct it. Yeah. Interesting. Yes, yes. That's why you mentioned that this pet industry is a very big one. Yes, it's a big one. Because almost everything you're saying is new to me. Yes, I mean, okay, so let's look at when they become sick. What should you do? I think that every pet owner should have a personal veterinary doctor. Like the way we have personal doctors. You should have a veterinary doctor too. Somebody that you know, takes care of the animal often and knows the animal's medical records. Yeah. So once you notice a change in appetite, that's one of the first things you notice when an animal is not well. Okay. A change in appetite. It might start by not eating as much as it used to. or it will not eat at all.
Okay.
Once you notice any of those, you call your vet or you take it to the nearest clinic to be checked. Yeah, so that's it.
But we have a lot of veterinary doctors in Ghana.
You have no idea. We have a lot.
Oh, I see.
We have a lot. We have a lot. I think we have more veterinary doctors or veterinary clinics than hospitals in Ghana. Yeah, we have a lot.
Okay. Now let's look at when they become uncontrollable. What do you do?
Same. The trainers.
Trainers.
Yes,
Oh,
trainers. Trainers. Some of the character traits can be corrected by yourself. You see, the animals look at you. Okay. Dogs, for instance, they move in a pack. They work in a pack. Okay. They use the pack system. You, the owner, should be the alpha.
Okay.
Now, if you are able to exert your dominance on the animal as the alpha, the animal listens to you.
Okay.
If you're unable to do that, the animal does not respect you. So sometimes you just have to adjust how you handle the animal. You let the animal know that you're the leader of the pack, and then the animal starts listening to you. You have to be firm. Sometimes you have to discipline the animal. You know, sometimes you need to shout at the animal a little bit so the animal knows you're in charge.
Okay.
You get it? So those things are there. People pamper the animal so much that the animals will not regard them. Yes. So because the animal knows that even if it goes wrong, there's nothing you're going to do about it.
So it's just like humans.
Yes, I told
what
you.
What do you do to your children?
It's an additional baby.
Oh.
Yes, so that's it. So when you get to a point where you're unable to manage it, you bring in a trainer. There are very good trainers in Ghana that can correct those situations for you. Yeah.
Now, is there something called adoption when it comes to pets? This pet industry, like you adopt somebody's pet?
Yeah.
Is this possible?
Yeah, it's possible.
Oh, okay.
It's possible.
And what should one consider when you are doing that? Because this is a pet you've not lived with
before. Yeah. So I think the same things you do when you're getting a pet for the first time, you need to do the same thing when you're adopting another person's pet.
Oh, okay.
But the most important thing when you're adopting another person's pet is the behavior of the animal.
Exactly.
You know, whether the animal, when you're getting a dog, for instance, the dog has to be a friendly dog. The dog has to be willing to know another person. Okay. If you are adopting a bird, you know birds can be aggressive too. They can peck you.
Yeah.
Yes. So, so any animal you're getting, make sure that the animal is willing to be friendly. When you're getting it as a second owner. Just that's it. Once you know the animal is comfortable around you, you can always adopt.
But do you give this kind of education to owners when they are coming to purchase?
Yes.
Pets?
At Legion, we do an all-round service.
Okay.
We offer advisory roles. We have people who just call us to have conversations on even the kind of dog to get. Okay. Sometimes it goes beyond dogs, the kind of pet to get, based on their needs. Like you said, some have time, some do not. Some are looking for dogs for companionship, not as guard dogs. So we offer like a general consultation. We have conversations. We advise on which breed you should get. And of course, once you get from us, it's our job to help you raise the dog until, until it's an adult.
So just let's speak about your kennel.
Right.
Yeah. Anything about it?
Yeah. So Legion is we are a kennel in Ghana. We are somewhere in Adenta. We breed Rottweilers. Okay. Rottweilers are one of the best dogs that you can ever have. They are very balanced, temperamental dogs. People.
Do you have images of that? Oh, that's what.
Yeah, yes. The dogs you see on the screen, they are Rottweilers.
Can you put that on the screen again?
Yeah. Yes. So that's what we do. We ship puppies all around Africa. Yes, so these are puppies that left us for the Gambia. Those were photos that we shot just before they left us. So we
sold them.
Yes, so we ship.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so we have people calling us all over Africa for puppies.
Okay.
And we sell them actually. Okay. So we're able to ship puppies all around. So so that's a little I can say about Legion. We breed Rottweilers. If anybody wants any other breed, we are connected to very good breeders all around. So we'll be able to connect you to some of the best breeders of different breeds also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any contacts, social media platform?
Yeah. So it's Legion Rottweilers GH on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram.
Okay.
Our contact is 020 9493 040.
Again.
020 9493 040.
Right. So what message would you give to first-time pet owners or aspiring pet owners, with regards to this whole responsible living with pets? Do you have any message for them?
Yes, I do. But before that, let me quickly talk about this. There's a dog walk happening on the 17th of January. Okay. It's happening at around the Palace Mall. Okay. These animals need to be exercised. Okay. They need to be socialized. So if you have a dog at home and you want to, meet other pet owners, you want to come for this dog walk. It's on the 17th of January. Yes, we are meeting at the Palace Mall, and then we'll take a brief walk. We'll socialize. We'll learn about. It's 4:30 p.m. I'm doing it in the evening. Okay. Yeah. So to first-time pet owners, please let's love lead. Okay. Let's love lead. Once you love the pets that you are going in for, trust me, everything that I have said here will not sound like work to you. Everything I have said here will, be like a routine for you. And get a pet, trust me, and you have a better life. Yeah, thank you.
You have a better life. Thank you so much. Mr. Kwame Inchi is a premier dog breeder, and he was our guest for today as we spoke about responsible living with animals or pets. And so I hope you have learned something from our conversation. Let's do some birthdays.
Was your birthday? I heard today was your birthday.
There's happy birthday to my training instructor, Coach Charles Adama. Thank you for the support and guidance during training. This is from Beatrice. That's all we have for you on the birthday segment. Now, something interesting happened yesterday. A lot of people are excited, a lot of Ghanaians actually, that Nigeria lost their match at the semi-finals. We'll get into that right after this breakout with Benedict Nkitia Kwating. You're welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. And so we are about to give you the gist. The latest in the world of sports with Benedict Nkitia Kwating. And I'd like to find out from Benedict. Benedict, since you are formerly an against member of Nigeria, how were you feeling yesterday?
Yesterday, the gods of agenda against supporters union. The gods graced us, the gods blessed us. Yesterday was very exciting. I can't tell, I was so overwhelmed with happiness.
Were you the same person who came here last week saying Nigeria is, they are brothers?
Yes. I was almost deceived. I was almost deceived into, rallying behind Nigeria. But no, I was delivered yesterday morning. I woke up and I had a feeling. I was like, no. What am I doing, Benedict?
You're losing yourself.
Yes, I'm losing myself. This is not who I am. So let me go back to where I find joy, peace and joy in. And yesterday, like I said, the gods of agenda, the gods of ASU against supporters union, were blessed yesterday. Let me break it down to you.
Break it down.
Yesterday, Chelsea lost.
A.
Was it A? Relax, Meba.
Where is James?
Meba. Yesterday, Real Madrid lost. And then yesterday, Nigeria lost. 3-1. See, God served us with Kibo 3-1. See, morning, that is breakfast, lunch, supper, all in one. So you can tell that, there is something going on. And for Ghanaian Barcelona fans, this whole week, it's just been pure joy. pure. I wake up.
You should enjoy your moments. I mean,
come on.
Enjoy your moments because it won't last.
It will last.
Oh, it won't last.
It will last. It will last. I wake up and I'm full of joy. We won against Madrid, the Super Copa finals. The following day, they sacked their manager. 2 days later, they lost. Chelsea lost their previous game, and they've lost again. Rob, it's just joy. Nigeria too lost. It's just joy over the
Nigerians are saying we should focus on our World Cup, please.
We will. Regardless of whatever happened, we have qualified for the World Cup. So we don't really care about them. As far as
but in terms of AFCON, between Nigeria and Ghana, who has gone like further?
No, I think we have the same number of trophies when it comes to AFCON, the African Cup of Nations trophies. I think we have the same. So Nigeria winning this time around, they would have been
ahead of us.
Ahead of us, yes. And we don't want that. That is one.
But in terms of performance, a lot of people were applauding Nigerians.
Yes, this for the tournaments they played really well. I mean,
better than Ghana, right?
We didn't qualify, so I can't say better than Ghana. But we didn't qualify, so I can't say that. But then they did very well. Kudos to them. We'll come to the semi-final. It's part of my stories for today. Yes, but then let me first of all let me say a good morning to our viewers. And as usual, this is the Clock Sports, of course, on your favorite morning show, Koko Daye's morning show, a sports update segment. And we bring you nothing but the best in the world of sports. So today, I'm taking you straight into women's football. That is the sports ministry settles Black Princesses owed per diems ahead of South Africa clash. So the Black Princesses, it was, we all know, the government was owing them some amount of money, some per diems, during their qualifier against Tunisia somewhere around last year. And then we're hoping that their balances will be paid. So, the government, the ministry and the government, they fulfill their promises by settling their per diems. They've been paid, and then right now they're heading towards some qualification games. That is for the World Cup against Tunisia, So they are preparing towards the qualification matches, and then in preparation for that, they've been paid their per diems. This is actually a morale booster because, knowing that, your pockets have been filled and then you are going to play a qualifier, that means I have to do more, I have to do better, I have to try my possible best. So yes, the Ministry of Sports and Recreation and then the minister, we are happy, we applaud them for what they are doing, and of course paying particular attention to the women's football. We know that years ago we weren't really concentrating on women's football, but now there is much attention, there is much focus, and then there is much investment into the women's sport. So congratulations to the sports ministry, and then to the sports minister Kofi, and then of course to the under 20 women's team, Black Princesses. We hope they will also be able to qualify for the Women's World Cup that is coming up. Let's move on to our next story. So yes, it comes down to one of my favorite players in the whole of Ghana, the Ghanaian Black Stars squad. One of my favorite players is Antoine Semenyo. Yes, this story is about him. So he bags his back-to-back man of the match as City outclassed Newcastle. So 2 days ago, Man City played against Newcastle for the EFL tournament, the tournament where it's a domestic league in England. So Antoine Semenyo, yes, he starred in the game against Newcastle. The first half was quite tough, yes, because they went to a 0-0 nil. But then a few minutes into the second half, Antoine Semenyo did his thing. So the ball ricocheted from David Silva, and then of course he's very clinical. He's always available in the spot. He's always available in the box, and he was positioned very well, and then he was able to convert the ball into the net thanks to the play by Jeremy Doku through to David Bernardo Silva, and then of course the Ghanaian attacker Antoine Semenyo. So I remember when Antoine Semenyo was signed into Manchester City, Ellen Haaland made a comment that since Semenyo is joining City, he feels like his golden boot as the top scorer in England is at stake. Like he feels threatened. I mean, it was a joke because now he's his teammate, but he was making a very good comments. Like that comment, he meant it because he knows how good Semenyo is. It's just because he didn't find himself in a very good team. Not a very good team. I mean, Beaumont it's a very good team. Just that, when it comes to winning games, they really struggle with it and all that. But still, he was giving numbers and all. So we know that now that he's in Cities and that Pep Guardiola, he's going to do extremely well. And then this is an example. This is the evidence of his performances.
Yeah.
Against they played in the Carabao. I think 2 or 3 days before Tuesday, where they won 10-1 or so. He scored a goal and then he gave an assist. So we know that Semenyo is that good. He's that good. He can do better. He can play better. So yes, and then against Newcastle. Newcastle is a very strong team, a very strong side. But still, he came out and was able to score a goal for Manchester City to break the ice for Manchester City for them to win by 2-0. The second goal was scored by Ryan Cherki. So yes, Antoine Simon, he won the man of the match. So their previous game and then this one, he won the man of the match. So twice, and this is just his debut. I mean, his second game for Manchester City. So yes, we know he has the potential. And then we are hoping for the best for Antoine Semenyo.
Okay.
Personally, I'm rooting for him. Now I'll be watching him a lot. Let me move on to our local story for today.
Okay.
So our local story for today is actually a very funny story. And it's a comment made by our very own Charles Taylor. So he says, big ass woman. Charles Taylor unleashes bombshell attack on Kotoko Stars as Premier League title bid falters. So yes, big ass woman. So he made his comments during his interview where it is seen that the Kotoko players, mostly after matches, they are taking pictures with women. Even after they've made losses, these gentlemen are comfortable enough to take pictures with women. So yes, Charles Taylor is one of the biggest players Ghana had those days. Yes, he played for Hearts of Oak. He also featured in Asante Kotoko too. So he's actually a legend for both teams. He's a legend for Ghana, together.
But
so during his interview,
why is he mentioning big as?
Yeah, so that is the Kotoko players.
Done?
Yeah, that is the Kotoko players. I mean, after losing, they are like 6 points away from the league leaders.
Okay.
And when you come to Ghanaian football, we have some teams that at least we uphold them high.
Yeah.
We know that yes, they will do something. They'll perform better. Kotoko is one of them.
Teams.
And to be losing matches back to back, and then all of a sudden you pick form, you have won 2 matches in a row, and you have come back to losing the last 2 matches. They drew and then they lost. And then even after losing a game, these players were seen on the field having the effort to be taking pictures with fans. We are not saying don't make time for your fans, but losing a game and knowing that you've lost and you are in contention for the title and you are comfortably taking pictures with big ass. I mean, I'm quoting what Charles Taylor said. Big ass woman. I mean, it's quite appalling and I mean unsportsmanlike.
Yeah.
You need to be in the game. Football is about your head.
But everything happens, after the game. So whether you lost or you won, your fans are still your fans.
There is time for everything. There is time for everything. I actually side with Charles Taylor because when you watch Kotoko's games now, it's sad to watch them because this is not the Kotoko I knew few months ago. They were playing much better. When I think there is something going on with the management and the team is actually declining based on certain reasons we all don't know. They don't really care about what is going on around them. They only care about taking pictures with women. And then it's one of the comments Charles Taylor made during his interview. And I think I agree with him. So these gentlemen, I'm only saying that, there is time for everything. These women, they will be available for you guys all the time. Whenever you are ready, they will be available for you. But this is the time for you guys to pick up, do something better because you are trailing. And we were expecting Kotoko to be, contending for the title. They're fourth on the table, which is not really something we were hoping for. Yes, we know the other teams are also doing better because nobody is here to joke. Nobody's here to play around. But we're expecting better from Kotoko. And then some of the big teams out there, Hearts of Folk. Mediama is first. Mediama is leading the table. They are playing extremely well. And that's because the boys are actually focused. And we are hoping that the other team members will be focused. We need the attention on the Ghana Premier League. And when investors are coming to watch the matches that is going on at the Premier League side, they first of all look out for the big names. And Kotoko is part of the big names.
Yeah.
If they're coming to watch a game by Kotoko and they see this lackadaisical attitude by these players, of course, they will not be interested. The comments I will make is, if the big names, the big teams are doing this, then the small teams...
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So I think the boys need to sit up and then actually play better, do better, so that they can actually come up better on the table. Let's move on to our last story. So our last story has to do with the AFCON tournament. So yes, yesterday some games, we played some games, yes, and then that was the semi-finals. First match was between Senegal and then Egypt. And I must say, this tournament has been one of the best tournaments African Cup of Nations I've witnessed ever since I started watching football 2002, 2003, 2004, and all that. This is one of the best tournaments I've actually witnessed. And then I must just applaud. The only thing I can do is just applaud the management. Morocco, of course, for hosting, and then the CAF leaders, the sports leaders for hosting this, and then giving us one of the best tournaments so far. So yesterday, I watched Senegal and then Egypt's game, and it was very tough, I must confess. It was very tough. We were hoping for goals to be flowing. But then again, I remembered previous games between these same teams. So in the past three games they've played, Senegal has won. The first one was a World Cup qualifier. Senegal kicked out Egypt. And they are doing it on their home soil.
Oh, okay.
They are hosting this tournament this time around, and then they are going to finals against Senegal. And this match, I'm actually happy. I'm rooting for Senegal to win, just because they are from the western side of Africa.
You have to be careful with who you are rooting for, because the last time you rooted for Nigeria, they lost.
Because God knew that it wasn't coming from my heart.
They lost.
I was only supporting them because I felt defeated.
The best win. We beg
No,
you.
Senegal is actually the best amongst the two. So Senegal has to win. Senegal has to win. This is Mane's last tournament, so I feel like he has to win for the western side of Africa. Okay. And when it comes to football in Africa, it's West Africa and then North Africa. Okay. So the Moroccans, Egyptians, Algerians, and against the Senegalese, Nigerians, Ghanaian Black Stars, and all that. So yes,
all right.
This is it for the sports update segment. But then before I go away, Real Madrid, you lost against Albacete. I can't even mention the name. Mimi, let me break down something to you. It's as if some people don't really understand the gravity of this loss.
Our time.
It's just a few seconds. Producer, just a few seconds. So Albacete, yes, they are 17th in the second division team. When you talk about 17, no, the second division, they are the teams that qualify to the first division. Okay. Now, if you have to qualify, you have to be among the first 5. Even the first 5, I think the first or second teams. So when you are looking at the thing very well, Albacete is 17. They don't have any way to qualify to even the first division, and they were able to win against Real Madrid 3-2. This is quite appalling. This is abysmal. We don't want to accept this by Real Madrid. I mean, aside rivalry and banter. No, you can't play like this because you are one of the pride of Spain. And if the pride of Spain is playing like this, no, please, come on. And stop ranting with the 15 Champions League. You are playing bad. You are doing you are playing a woeful game. And when we talk about it, you people are ranting. You have 15 Champions League. Come on, boys. This is sad. I hope you recover from this, because if you are playing like this, I won't play against you. Barcelona will just forfeit the game. Take the 3 points. We don't need it anymore because we can't play against a team like this. Okay. So thank you very much for having me.
Benedict, let's just hold on. We have some news coming in that about 75 countries, immigrant visas for these 75 countries have been suspended. And a lot of Black Star supporters are scared that it's going to affect them. And so we have an important message here that says that fans, visitors, and short-term travelers from these countries, these countries that the visas have been suspended, are still eligible for the type of visa needed to attend the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And so that is the news we have for you. It doesn't affect you because yours is just for
Ghana is actually part of the 75 countries.
Yes,
but then,
that's why a lot of people are concerned.
No, it's not
but
really a worry.
For those that will be going for the World Cup, please, unless you have other, motives.
The thing is that before you apply for a visa, they will check if you bought tickets, your hotel reservations, and then the games you'll be attending. These are the things that will help you get the visa. And then because Trump has introduced ICE, the immigration control, something to be regulating. They are all over. I spoke to a friend in the States. I spoke to a friend in the States yesterday, and she was telling me they are all over. Wherever you'll be walking around, and someone can ask you like 10 times if you have your visa or if you're a citizen or something. So if you have other plans of going there, please.
And not coming back.
Just be careful. I won't tell you not to go, but just be careful when you go out.
All right. More of this conversation will be coming your way right after the business segment. So stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
good morning. Welcome to the Business Update segment. I am Clement Yabankwe. Now, on to our stories. Ghana credit rating or credit growth in Ghana's banking sector has significantly declined over the first 10 months of 2025, dropping by 142% year-on-year to 8.626 billion Ghana cedis, as reported by Bank of Ghana. This marks a dramatic change from 20.952 billion Ghana cedis in October 2024.
The contraction primarily affects public sector lending, which saw a reduction of 3.445 billion Ghana cedis, indicating a trend of reduced government borrowing amid ongoing fiscal consolidation efforts, while private sector credit did expand by 12.07 billion Ghana cedis. This represents a slowdown compared to last year's growth of 28.8%. Notably, private sector lending remains dominant, comprising 95.9% of total credit, with the services sector receiving the largest share of new credit at 77.7%. Overall, these trends highlight a cautious approach among banks, favoring government and central bank securities over increased lending.
Away from that, Ghana's seaports are showing renewed strength in trade activity, providing a positive signal for the economy, even as passengers' movement through airports and land borders is slightly. According to Bank of Ghana's data, by November 2025 monetary policy rate reports, container traffic at the Tema and Takoradi ports recorded a significant uptake in September 2025, reflecting improved international trade flows.
Total laden container traffic comprising both imports and exports rose by 20.6% year-on-year to 73,648 containers, compared with 61,093 in the same period last year. The strong performance extended into the year, with cumulative container traffic for the first 3 quarters of 2025 increasing by 23.2% to 647,536, up from 525,623 over the corresponding period in 2024. Meanwhile, passenger arrivals softened marginally. Arrivals declined by 1.3% year-on-year to 102,073 in September 2025, from 103,387 a year earlier, while month-on-month figures fell by 10.5%. Overall, passenger arrivals for the first 9 months of 2025 remained broadly stable at 938,210 across international airports and land borders, slightly below the 941,692 recorded in the same period of 2024.
On our final story, the Ghana cedi recorded a modest rebound across the interbank and retail markets over the last 2 weeks, supported by a slowdown in forex exchange demand. On the interbank market, the cedi appreciated by 3.74% against the United States dollar, ending the period at a mid-rate of 10 Ghana cedis 70 pesos. It also strengthened against the pound and the euro, gaining 4.7% and 4.81% to close at 14 Ghana cedis 38 pesos and 12 Ghana cedis 47 pesos respectively.
In the retail market, the local currency advanced by 1.65% against the dollar, 2.49% against the pound, and 2.85% versus the euro, closing at 12 Ghana cedis 15 pesos to the dollar, 16 Ghana cedis 5 pesos to the pound, and 14 Ghana cedis 5 pesos to the euro. Looking ahead, analysts caution that the cedi could face renewed pressure as import demand picks up and year-end foreign exchange buffers unwind. However, any depreciation is expected to be limited, partly due to anticipated inflows under the foreign exchange intermediation program scheduled for January 2026. The cedi opened this week trading at about 12 cedis, 25 pesos to the US dollar in the retail market, while the Bank of Ghana's reference rate stood at 10 cedis 71 pesos.
Thank you for staying with us for the Business Update segment. My name is Clement Yabankwe. Do enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. Thank you so much for staying with us. This is the last segment of the show, and so you have to stay with us because we have interesting conversations coming your way as part of the online newspaper review segment. Now, I have my co-host here with me, Clement Yabankwe and Peter Insia. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, Mimi.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to ask you is, what was the word of the day? I wasn't here. Hey, Zamuru Fipa, I bet someone's salary.
I think if viewers can give us the word of the day. Exactly.
Okay, so we have conversations surrounding, AGWA. I mean, the latest discussion that Ghana had with the United States. We'll be looking at that as well. And also what some residents in Teshi are saying, especially with regards to water shortage. We'll be talking about that. But let me just talk about excerpts from yesterday's government accountability series, where the Minister of State for Government Communications, Honorable Felix Kwakye-Ofosu, was addressing a few issues. Two of these most important issues that caught my attention, I beg your pardon, was the fact that someone asked when the Women's Development Bank was going to commence, and also the 24-hour economy was also going to commence, even though it has been launched. And he addressed it, stating that they are taking, their time, they are taking meticulous, plans before they make sure that this initiative is implemented. And so we have a video of that. Let's take a look at that. When we come back, we'll continue.
Where I campaigned to become MP. Anytime I went out to campaign and I mentioned that promise, it got the loudest applause and plaudits from members of the electorate in that constituency. That is because there are many women who require some capital, micro credits, to engage in some trading activity or some other business activity to help sustain themselves and their families. But the existing commercial banks are such that they simply do not have access to this microcredit. So it was identified as a major problem, and one whose resolution would catalyze additional economic growth and enhance the welfare of Ghanaian women. So the promise was that we will set up a Women's Development Bank, capitalize it so that they can lend to women at all levels of the Ghanaian economy. Indeed, in the 2025 budget, 51 million Ghana cedis was allocated, and that was meant to help finance the processes that will lead to setting up the structures for the bank. In the 2026 budget, 401 million Ghana cedis has also been allocated. I can assure you that under the auspices of the Vice President, work on the Women's Development Bank has gone really far, and in all likelihood, this year it will be rolled out. On the 24-hour economy, again, President Mahama and his government do not believe in ad hoc policy making. We don't believe in just sloganeering. When you want to set up a system, it is better to be meticulous and take the time required to set up the structures properly, so that when you take off, you don't suffer some of the implementation hiccups that other programs have suffered. Indeed, a wise man once said that a fool learns from his own mistakes, but a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. We've had a series of policies that have failed to endure because of how those policies were set up. We have taken a cue and therefore are working meticulously and painstakingly to address this. So the president had appointed an advisor in the shape of Mr. Guzita.
There you have it. Honorable Felix Kwakye-Ofosu, Minister of State for Government Communication, addressing the media on issues relating to the Women's Development Bank and also the 24-hour economy. He mentioned that they've taken cue from some, programs that, were lacking a bit of, stakeholder engagements, didn't really go through properly, and so it wasn't really in fruition. And so they want to take their time to ensure that the 24-hour economy doesn't suffer, such things. Now, people are also asking that, 24-hour economy was a flagship program, like you guys were talking about that. Why didn't you put the plans in place, before the launch, because you've already launched it, and so we are waiting for it to start. And you are now saying advisors have been paid to sit and have conversations surrounding this. That's a waste of time. What do you guys think?
So let me say this. A very quick one is the fact that we've had a lot of programs being introduced by governments or upon government, and some of them, it lasts. After one government, you could see the next government continuing and all these instances. Others too, after government, it dies off. No government, they don't continue. Why would these two things happen? These two things will happen due to its implementation processes. Yeah. We are in this country when the previous government implemented one of their flagship program, that is free SHS, of which even before its implementation, a lot of stakeholders spoke into that very implementation. Yeah. And after its implementation, there have been a lot of loopholes being dug into it. So I think that government is taking clue from all these happening so that it will not happen again. There was a saying, I say that it is better to spend even years. If you are supposed to spend 2 years to put up better structure that will last for years, it's better to do that than to use few months and start something that will not last, but rather end up the only resources we have you end up wasting it. So on the benefit of the doubt, I will say that let's give government that chance. What they are putting in place, let them put in place. But if whatever they are putting in place kickstarts into, we would equally monitor it and be updating Ghanaians on that.
101 million Ghana cedis has also, gone into the Women's Development Bank, and also so we didn't hear anything. So
as that, you see, earlier we've been having conversation on the business segments on that, and they make us understand that it's a seed fund. When we talk about seed fund, the preparation, the start. So making sure structures are being laid down and all these kind of things. You see, they could have just started with 500 million, giving loan or doing everything. Yeah. But I believe in that. Let's lay a good foundation. Early in the discussion, Peter made us understand that 2025 was a period of foundation laying for the Mahama government. So 2026, they are going to build upon. So we expect that as they are laying the foundation, the building upon it needs to be very firm and strong.
Peter, do you have something to add?
Yes, so
briefly,
we call something political gymnastics. You understand? So this is all politics, and then people also said that was the message that actually sold the NDC government to actually win the power this year.
Exactly.
And so I like the fact that even before this 24-hour economy, when it was a campaign promise, a whole lot of people deliberated about its implementation and the weight of it. So, this 24-hour economy is meant to expand the economy and then to a broader extent, create job employment, youth employment for the youth and all that. And so I like the fact that he said it's only a fool that learns from his own mistakes, but the wise learn from the mistake of others. In as much as it was a political or a campaign message to win seat, they've come to realize that it is very imperative that they take their time to be able to implement the policy very well, so that at the end of the day, it wouldn't be a waste of money, a waste of public fund. And so it's a very good call. And then, like Clement said, let us give them the opportunity to, put the right measures in place, so that once it is implemented, once it is kick-start, each and every one of us is going to enjoy the whole thing.
They shouldn't take forever to also do that, because you just have 4 years, and we are in the second year. Okay, so let's just link that to one of our news that says that U.S. approves 3-year extension of AGOA to boost trade relations with Ghana. So earlier I was asking you guys what AGOA stands for, because everyone was saying AGOA. Let me just read what we have here from Joy Online. And it says, Ghana has welcomed a major development in its trade relations with the United States, after the U.S. House of Representatives voted overwhelmingly to extend the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, for 3 more years. Now, the extension, approved by a margin of 340 to 54, now heads to the Senate for final endorsement before being sent to the President for signature. So that is the news we have here. And anything that is going to boost our economy, support the growth of our economy, we are in support of that. And so that's what is trending. Do you have any, preliminary thoughts? Yeah.
It's a very good news.
Yeah.
It means that we can import and export freely without paying, tax. But, for this kind of collaboration, it is not only Ghana or African countries that are going to benefit. It's a mutual something. You benefit, I benefit. But there's a section of people who are saying that because we don't have what it actually takes, the US stands to, benefit more. They stand to, take our raw materials, go there, process it, and bring it back. How much can we process here and even send to them and even make money? And so when I heard that it was cancelled, I was actually waiting for this day. I knew that there was a day coming that they'll come back to, because actually they are benefiting from Africa, taking our raw materials, process them into finished goods and bring them back. But then it's a good news. It is going to expand business, especially the government businesses here, more employment and all that, because it wouldn't take much to export.
Exports, yeah. Clement.
Okay, so I think as you said and as Peter said, it's not a new thing. It started in the year 2000 when it was really introduced, and African had opportunity to export without paying duty on everything that they export. So, but one thing I want to ask our government is the fact that over the years, was there a plan for us to benefit from this program? If there was a plan, how has the plan evolved over the years from 2000? Was there a collaboration between the Ministry of Trade and Industry and the Ministry of Agric? Because we're talking about exporting raw materials, exporting either processed food items or any other thing that the country have. So we should have a look at the action plan. And this very news, let me build on it. This very news has come on a good time for Ghanaians. Why? Because we are in an era where our macroeconomic is really stable. Every indicator shows positive. So we are in an era where even the 24-hour economy that you talked about is coming in. What is it coming in to do? It's coming in to boost the manufacturing and processing of goods. So if people ends up producing more, if people ends up getting more items into the market and Ghanaians end up not consuming all the items, what is the alternative? The alternative is for us to export these goods that we are being produced in Ghana. Last year, we had a lot of maize in the system and consumers were kind of limited. But the question is, how are we going to process the maize into another either semi-finished goods or finished goods, so that when we export these items to the international market, we will be able to get whatever we want. We can't only rely on cocoa. And now, yes, we have great opportunity in gold. These two items we can't only rely on. We need to look at other avenues. And how can we look at the other avenues? The other avenues we need to look at is to, one, go back to the drawing board. The action plan that was developed in 2016 and 2017, that action plan needs to be relooked at. As Peter said, AGWA expired in September 2025. So everybody was looking for the opportunity for this thing to be relooked at, so that the exporters of this country would equally benefit from whatever they are doing. So the best thing I would talk about is the fact that, one, let's look at the action plan as a country, so that we can boost the economy that we want to boost. The next thing we need to look at is that let us add more value to the things that we export. It shouldn't be only the raw material, only the cocoa beans. What's next? Only the shea butter. What's next? Only the cashew. No. We should add value to it so that we get more from the exports that we are going to have a look at. We are going to enjoy. So basically, that is what I would call for. A good action plan, more environment opportunity for people to produce more, the 24-hour economy. They were talking about bringing in free tariff for some peak hours of the day or off-peak hours. That things need to be activated so that within these 3 years, we would export more than we do previously.
Right. Now, we need to know why this is good news for all of us, because AGWA allows eligible sub-Saharan African countries duty-free access to the U.S. market, just like my colleagues have explained. And so if you're a business owner, you are into any form of business, where you export goods, this is some kind of good news for you. And so just as Clement said, think of how you're going to add value to your product so that when it goes out there, it will be very attractive and then you get your returns back. Now let's turn our attention to Breman Esikuman Senior High School, where a disturbing video has been circulating online involving two students who have been expelled actually from the school because of a viral video. I don't even know how to describe it. Let's take a look at that video. We'll be back.
Ain't nothing like these other girls, and they can't even come close to coming close to you. I just want to treat you like
from the Breman Esikuman Senior High School because of what you just saw. And, they are in school uniforms, representing their schools, whilst others are representing their schools, on, national platforms where they are debating, key issues here and there, tech, those kind of conversations. Others are also, making good time out of their stay in these schools. And a lot of people were worried because, these are our future leaders. We've all attended senior high schools one way or the other. So senior high school. Senior high school. Why are you guys laughing? It wasn't, I don't know, but you don't even have time to think of these things. Yeah. Because you are always studying. You're always learning. So what is happening to our senior high schools now?
Mimi, in your submission, you said something. Mimi.
Even university students who are paying huge amount of fees, they do the same. How much more? So they are learning from.
Peter,
I think just remind our viewers that we are live on Facebook and also YouTube, and so you can engage us with your thoughts on our streaming platforms and also the WhatsApp number. The phone lines will be open shortly so that you call and share your thoughts with regards to all the conversations we are having. I'm quite interested in what you think about this particular video because one way or the other we have siblings, we have children in our senior high schools. Yes.
Peter was trying to make a point that we can't really blame them because of what what is happening on social media and what even tertiary students are doing. But in as much as we can't blame them, who did that act? They are the one who did the act. So whom should we blame? It's hard time we stop blaming the parents, we stop blaming whoever. Let's let them take. They are those doing the act. No.
The issue is
adults. They are not kids.
The reason is that each and everybody studies what goes around on the environment, your surroundings, and then here lies the case. We have some parents who are very strict at home that they will not allow you to do this. And for all you know, these are SHS1 students. They just got into the school. So maybe us at home, they've seen these videos on social media, they've seen their siblings doing all that. And because their parents are strict at home and then they can't use phone, that's the only avenue for them to do. So when they got to school, they decided to also explore.
In a classroom.
They want to do. In as much as, so the thing is that this is a system failure.
Yes, why do you have to even
in a
video
uniform?
it? Why do you have to?
This is not the first viral video we are seeing.
Yes, but you know.
So the thing is that we have to. It's not about educating or punishing these students and expelling them. Once you expel them, what happens? They are still exposed to those social media videos. They are in an environment where people are doing it. So how are you going to change the mindset of the people? Right now, for some time now, we've been talking about teachers, not getting the luxury or not getting the power to really punish a student when they go wrong. And now that we say parents who are also straight. So some kids, when they vacate, they don't like it because at home they can't even use phone. There are some dresses they don't wear. We've all been to SHS. And then even with this one, because it came out, because they videoed it, that is why it is. People do more than this when it's time for entertainment and all that. But just for them to get the, we say, to even video and put it out there, that is what is. But then you can't really blame them. You can blame them, it is bad, you can punish them for that. But if you punish them and then you don't sanitize the environment. Now, when you take your phone and you go to TikTok, go to Facebook, see the kind of videos, grown men and women who have given birth to 5, 6, whose kids are 30 years and above, see the kind of things they do. So if an old woman is doing it, let's say your parents are so busy that they don't even have time. They are doing it. They don't sit you down to educate you. Not everything that Guilt test is good. Maybe you didn't get that opportunity. Your mom and your dad, they are all career men and women. They don't have time. All they are chasing for is the money. So you are allowed to take good care of yourself. When you go out there, that's where you go to exploit so many things. Those who are drunkards, those who smoke, they didn't learn it at home. They learn it from SHS.
So who are you blaming now, Peter?
Right now, I'm blaming everyone. Our system, our system. I'm blaming parents and some adults who are not responsible. I mean, it's high time, Sam George. They should look at the social media. There are so many videos that are not supposed to be there. Most of the kids are not restricted. When you pick a phone, any site you can easily access it. And some of the contents there is not good for kids. You understand? This is how it starts. The person saw it somewhere. Now they are practicing. The next thing, the next thing is what? We were talking about pregnancy. People giving birth and this is how it starts. If they give birth, they can't take care of them. It becomes the burden of government and the parents.
I have always had an issue with, SHS students being allowed to use mobile phones in school. It is allowed. They are allowed to use it. I've seen a few videos where young people are doing these things, but they are not in uniforms. This is like the first time I'm seeing students in uniform doing this. And so I think we need to also address that issue where students are using mobile phones.
Gone are the days you can't use phone in school. You can't. Even during exams period, you can't still use phone. I had one head master. He was very strict, but Mimi, the man is good. He helped. He helped put us on a good path. But you see, I want to talk about this. Let me say this. We as a country, we need to take charge of things like this. Maybe when you go to a country like China, their TikTok app is not used for what we use here. They use their TikTok app for learning. It gives opportunity for young people or students to go there and learn things. Use it to do something. But when you come to African countries, when you come to Ghana, it's not like that. Our TikTok platform it's like free market. Let me say it's free market. Let me state that because there's no price control in terms of business. So nobody's controlling that platform. Not only TikTok, all social media platforms. It's not being controlled. It's not being regulated. So you can go there today, start your own content, do whatever you want to do there, and it's exposed to whoever comes to the platform. Everybody goes there, pick up everything, and start talking about any other thing. Sometimes some of the conversation that we have, even on televisions, is not even good for kids. It's not even good for some age group. It's not good for them. How much more TikTok? That someone can just pick a phone, sit in his room, and do anything. Whether it is control, there's no control. So I think this is the angle we need to go to. The Cyber Security Authority, that we have in a country, they should take a critical look at our various platforms. Even though this mobile phone, you can, as a parent, you can control your child. When you go to the settings, parental control.
Yeah, Clement, I've realized that a lot of people are calling our WhatsApp number. Please, the phone lines are now, open, and so you can call us and share your thoughts with us. The number will be displayed on your screen, right away, and so you can call us. Thank you very much.
So maybe, as I said, when you go to your phone settings, there is a place called parental control. You can restrict your child from going to certain sites, from going to certain platform. But the question is, how many parents know about this? And another point here is, most parents have made the mobile device available to their kids. And they don't control them. They don't tell them what they should use it for.
Yeah.
You see a young guy and on TikTok watching videos which is not meant good for him. So when this guy as old as 4 years, 5 years starts watching such videos, just imagine. So I think we have a whole lot of things we need to look at as a country. One, the Ministry of Information and Digital Technology need to look into this aspect very well. If we need to regulate our social media platform or our media platform, we should regulate it. We should make sure that some areas is no-go area for some category of people. Some platforms is for these purposes. Some platforms, but that would make the nation grow. That will make us have the good or the future leaders we want to have. And some parents, please, let us have time for our kids. Let's have time.
Such restrictions are there with some apps like YouTube and also TikTok. Before you start operating the app, they'll ask you, who are your content meant for? Or which videos can you watch or something? So they have 18 plus and the rest. And so such apps, you are able to regulate it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you do so otherwise.
I'm coming. We have a caller on the line. Hello, Mr. Loco.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Loco, we can hear you.
The two gentlemen speaking. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
I just want to comment on the program.
Okay.
The two gentlemen. The other one wearing the very black.
Mr. Loco, just go straight to your point, please.
These children, these are what they have been doing. Okay. What I want to say is the way they are commenting on the issue, it is very, 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 very bad. This is something they have to condemn straight.
Mr. Loco, please, you would have to lower the volume of your TV set and then speak to us, just like a phone call. If not, you
condemn it. This is what the children were doing before.
Okay, so
yeah. They have to condemn this act and stop saying that there were other things, there were grown-up people and they were doing it. This is not good. This is what has come up. So the children have to be suspended. If they are talking of suspension, fine. You see, if they are talking of suspension, it is fine. But not to say that, there's so many people doing it. And you are asking him that, why, so who should we blame? And you are also saying that they should blame everybody. This is what the children were doing in the school. So the children have to be suspended.
We appreciate that. Thank you so much, Mr. Loco. He's quite, disagreeing with what...
Mr. Loco actually is not getting what we are saying.
Exactly.
We are not saying it's a good act.
Yeah.
We've condemned the act and we agree that the suspension is key. But then we have to tackle the root cause. For how long are we going to continue to suspend students without tackling the root cause? And the root cause is what I made mention of, the fact that in their environment, certain things are happening. Banning, because we are in the technological world.
Yeah.
mobile phone, the use of mobile phone is very effective.
It has come to stay.
And
actually.
so the thing is that we have to regulate our systems. We were here when the education minister was lamenting about the fact that the tablets given to the students, they are using the tablets to watch porns.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we have what it takes to regulate our system. Know where students can use. This is a government, property given to you, and they are using it.
Yeah.
So if you say we shouldn't allow them to use phones in their schools, what about the ICT labs? They are using computers. They go for lab. They still use it. Yeah. A lot is happening. So it is a system error. We need to tackle the root causes. For how long are you continuing to dispel students without tackling the issue?
Because
this is one school. Yeah. Another school will come. They'll do the only thing. It got to a point that students were not afraid of canes again. Yeah. Because I know if I do something wrong, my teacher will cane me. That's the only thing. So I'm prepared for it. So we should tackle the root cause. We are not saying that we are supporting them. No, it is a bad habit. But we should tackle the root cause. Technology has come to stay, and we can regulate how our kids use phones and other things in schools.
Well, okay, Clement, before you come in, I think investments should be, pushed into helping our tech students who are in, our technical universities learn about these systems, how to hack, how to, make the system, regulate the system in a way. I don't know, but I think something like that can be done to help us as a country instead of going out and bringing people in to come and help, curb this issue.
Maybe we have the people in the country. We have the Cybersecurity Authority. We have a lot of people. We have people who can do this work. Okay. So the only thing is, the system is there. Let it work. And as Peter said, we are not praising what the kids are doing. They are kids. They started from somewhere. The point is, how do they get to know? That is the first question. Yeah. So how they get to know about all these acts is the point we need to close it. Yeah. It's like a tap is flowing and you don't want to close the tap, but you want to mop the water. No, it's not possible. The more you continue mopping the water, the more the tap will flow. Yeah. So the more the place will get wet. And the discussion we're having is we don't want to continue mopping the water anymore. Exactly. We've been mopping the water years, time gone. Let's close the tap. And how do you close the tap? Let's regulate our social media platforms. Let's put system in place whereby if you get opportunity to your phone, you can't even go to that very site. Let's put a system in place whereby GES will make strict regulations that don't use phone in SHS. Yeah. Let's make it a point where a student would not even be happy to go to class and be doing what he's doing. Exactly. That is the conversation we want to put out there.
Peter mentioned that some parents are overly strict, and so when these students get the opportunity, a little kind of freedom, they like to explore. And so are we also saying that parents shouldn't, be strict on their kids in a way?
You see, Peter, let me come in. You see, we have some kind of parents where, as a child, you'd be so willing to discuss anything that comes your way too. And either your mom or your dad would be willing to sit you down and give you advice, one or two. We have other parents that immediately raise the topic. We are collaborating. So you see, there's two categories of parents. If you are a child and you have a parent who when even something bad, like assuming what we saw on the screen, before the start, and assuming the young lady or the young guy can approach the parent and tell the parent this is the incident, the mom or dad can sit him or the child down and tell him that this is no good. So don't get closer to that very incident. But the other situation where the child will come and you just give him ham. Next time he will not come and tell you. Yeah. So what the point we are trying to make is that you are the father or the mother. You know how you can handle your kids. So that's the way that you think handle your kid to be appropriate. That's the way you should go. Well,
I would also like to conclude on this conversation by saying that we as humans or individuals need to be responsible. I mean, we are all adults. Whatever we do out there, whatever we put out there is a reflection of us. And so if we are doing something, we shouldn't just be looking at it, we are having fun, we are just doing what we want. Look at the generations it's going to have an impact on. Look at the number of people that are going to view your posts. Because we mentioned that one of the places that a lot of people are influenced highly is TikTok. Because everyone has access to TikTok and they can do whatever they want. These days, people are even, with their partners in bed and they are videoing it. You get it. But as, a mature, responsible human individual, you should know that these things shouldn't go out. And so we need to also be responsible so that we can help our younger generations coming. Now, let's turn our attention to another trending story happening in Teshi, where residents are lamenting poor water supply despite their regular bill payments. Now, they are asking why they have to keep paying water bills, yet there is this kind of inconsistency when it comes to water flow or water supply. And so we have a video of some residents who were lamenting, on the poor water supply. Let's take a look at that.
I think we deserve respect as citizens of this country, because the fact that you're giving us water once a week alone is not even the best, okay? And aside that, you can decide that this week you not give us water. By the end of the month, you give us bill to pay. Ghana Water Company, I don't know what is happening, but whatever the problem is, it will be very nice, okay, for you guys to at least come out and issue something. Let us know. Be announcing it. Tell us that, oh, maybe we're having issues with water, blah, 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 blah. Let us know. You cannot be water is very essential. We are paying water bill, but we're not getting water. I mean, Teshi, we are paying water bill, but water is so difficult. Even let's say that we are not even getting, the taps are not running. Even the water tankers are not even getting water to come and supply to us. What is it? Do you people want to suffocate us in this country? Bare minimum. Water. You will not even tell us, you not issue any statement to let us know that this is the issue you're having. What is it? Water. See the way we are struggling to get water.
Nationally, we are the demand is 350 million gallons a day. That means all of that is being equal. We have to produce it every day.
Okay.
But currently we produce 240 million gallons. Yeah. So about 136 million gallons shortfall every day.
I see.
So that means that if we produce, there will be a huge shortfall. Now, if we narrow it to Accra, the daily demand in Accra is 210 million gallons.
Wow.
And we produce 137.
So Accra is more than half of the national demand.
About 60-70%.
Hey, and you produce 137.
Yeah, so a shortfall of about 73 million gallons.
In Accra.
Nationally, we are the demand is 350 million gallons a day. That means all of that is being equal. We have to produce.
There you have it. Two videos. The first one was one of the residents at Teshi lamenting, over the poor water condition they are having at Teshi. Is a constituency or community. And then the second one is the managing director of the Ghana Water Company Limited, Adam Mutawakilu. Okay, yes. He was also addressing the current situation as it stands now. So, gentlemen, this is what is happening currently at Teshi. They are complaining that they do not have water flowing each and every time, yet they are paying water bills every single day. Now, the lady was talking about communication, which I would like to commend ECG for doing that. If ECG is going to take your light, at a particular area, they bring, a communique. They tell you that, oh, this particular area will be going off so and so. But I've never seen Ghana Water Company doing that. Anna is an oversight.
I mean, like you said, because it isn't something they used to.
Okay.
But I think with this situation, they've been communicating.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the member of parliament there too has been communicating, and they are well aware of this situation. And the research has it that this station water issue didn't start yesterday. It started 20 years ago, and they've been facing this situation.
Okay.
And so to address this chronic, shortage, Ghana Water Company Limited entered a public-private partnership in 2011 to build the Teshi Nungwa desalination plant, which was completed and commissioned in 2015 to convert seawater into potable water for Teshi, Nungwa, Sakumolola, and its environment. This plant was meant to produce 13 million gallons of treated water per day for about 500,000, people. And despite its promise, as usual, Ghana lack of maintenance culture. the plant faced, repeated technical breakdowns, corrosion, maintenance challenges, and operational costs. So the original PPP contract had to be, terminated because of the fixed, prices they were paying. The operational cost, was very high. Meanwhile, the plant was not even producing water. The people were still suffering. Yeah. So the people had to dwell on buying, water from water tankers, dwelling on wells and all of that. Yeah. And so the problem has persisted for a very long time. So this and then in October, for 20 years ago. So in October 2025, Ghana Water Limited shut down the plant again because of these same unresolved contractual problems and then the operational cost. And so it has been persistent. And then last week in the news, most media houses engaged the Member of Parliament there, which of course spoke the mind of President, which she said the President is in contact with the Ghana Water Company Limited and other stakeholders to ensure that they provide a long-term solution to this. Because the short-term solutions are not actually helping. Because the residents there are saying that they don't even get that private water tankers. They are not getting water to even sell to them. And so it's a very big problem.
Very worrying.
And then the lady was talking about the reason why they pay water bill, but they are not getting water. It's because, the billing is based on meters, not flow. So once water passes through you definitely pay.
Okay, so we have a comment here. I'm coming. Hello, good morning, Koko Digest. Thank you for serving as always, and Minister Insia, or Mr. Insia, is at it with his facts again. Kudos to him and you all. I am watching you live from Hacho. My name is Ejewa. Thank you so much for bringing your comments. Now, Clement, let's hear you.
Set the tone for the water crisis in Tishi. And when you look at the genesis of the story, last year, every year, government commits an amount of money for that treatment plant in that area to serve the people of Tishi, Nungwa, and its enclave. But it seems in terms of financial finances, they are lacking some amount of money. That is why it's been so difficult for them to supply the people of Tishi. But notwithstanding, if that is the incident or that is the reality on ground, as the young woman said, communication is the key. Let them know that this is what is happening. So what is the other alternative? Is Ghana Water Company Limited giving them alternative? If there's no alternative for them, then what are they as individuals? What are they supposed to do? For how long would they stay with this kind of water crisis? And for how long are they going to be? If they need maybe that they are supposed to get boreholes in their area, then that should be the way forward. If they are supposed to have some other means of water so that they can go on with their daily activity. That's because I've gone at the days that whenever you hear water shortage, it was the area of Kaswa. Whenever you hear water shortage in the news, it's about Kaswa. But now we are not hearing much about Kaswa because of some of the actions that the Member of Parliament took as early parts last year to provide water to some vantage points. I think that the way to go is that let them have, if it's the, as I said, borehole in their area, let them do it.
I even wanted to talk about that. I mean,
yes,
it looks as if we don't have alternatives when it comes to water in urban areas. I mean, gone were the days my community or area where I used to live, Alobushi, A-side 4. Anytime you hear of water shortage, we know we have a borehole somewhere. And so it wasn't really a problem as compared to what we are experiencing now. It looks like the dependence on the pipe-borne water is so high that we are forgetting that there are other alternatives we can, work with. And so just as you are saying, the Ghana Water Company can look into that, maybe create some kind of boreholes in these communities, at least one or two, so that they can rely on that it will help. You also mentioned a few alternatives for the Teshi people in your research. I don't know if it's still in existence and they've abandoned them.
It's still in existence, but the fact is that even those private tankers that bring, they are also not getting the water. So it becomes very difficult. for you to even chance on one, it will be by the grace of God. And then talking about this is where accountability comes in. Now, Clement spoke about operational costs. I also did. So, and then the lady also was talking about they paying, but they are not getting water. So accountability comes. How much do they make annually or monthly from consumers? And how much is their operational cost? How much does government contribute to the company annually? So we should know all these things to be able to balance the issue. And then talking about water crisis in this country, we can all attest to the fact that sometimes when you're walking somewhere, you can see like a pipe leaking, water flowing just like that.
Yes.
So you ask yourself, is ECG aware of this? Illegal connections and all that. People are using water free, forgetting that we pay for this. And so it is high time we look into some of these things. And then most of our pipelines are old.
Yeah. So
when it comes to urban settlement, we refuse to plan for the future. Now the population has increased.
Some people are even building on waterways. And
you see the thing.
Where the pipes are. No one could see down or what. So how are we going to change the pipes?
The flow of water. Now the population has increased. We have old pipes. They are leaking and all that. Look at the amount the manager said every day they have to provide for Accra. Yeah. The population has increased, so it's time we have to expand.
Urbanization is becoming the cause.
Exactly. So we have to look into some of these things.
The borehole is just the way to go because where I live now, that's what we use. And if I don't tell you it is borehole, you will never know. It flows through the sinks, everything.
Exactly.
Yes, so we can look into that as well. Just that we'll have to, work, make sure that it is clean, that kind of thing, so that it doesn't affect our people.
And then some areas, they find it difficult. It's very difficult for you have to drill to some extent before you get.
But for Taishi and its area, because of the sea around, you see, Ghana Water was using the sea, they were treating that's for the area. So I think if they are looking into it, they have technical people who would do a lot of research in that.
Exactly.
And it will help them.
Okay, so for the sake of time, let's move to our last story and then we'll wrap up. Ghana Customs officials at the Takoradi port have intercepted a large, consignment of suspected illicit drugs concealed in 2 40-foot containers following an intelligence-led operation at the Atlantic Terminal Service Limited terminal. And so that is what we have here. They've seized 25 million suspected illicit drugs at our ports, Takoradi port. Another day to have a situation like this. I mean, last year we spoke about this a few times, and this year we are at it again. Illicit drugs. Who is important?
And where is it coming from?
Where is it coming from? And where is it going to?
These are the questions. When I saw the news, that's the 3 questions I asked myself. Yeah. Where is it coming from? It was from a port before it got to Takoradi port. So let's trace that port. When we trace to that port, who actually brought those items there? Let's get that person. And that person will lead to the other. Last year, we had the news of fake United States dollars and Ghana cedis, somewhere Sapema, and we are yet to know the final details of the story. And some drugs. So always we get the light that this have been intercepted, but where is it from? Who is actually engaging in all this activity? Because we are the Ministry of Youth and also the National Youth Authority is having a campaign which says that say no to drugs. Say no to drugs because of how drugs.
Let me just remind our viewers that the phone lines are open, and so we'd just like to take a few calls. And so please do call us and tell us if you have an idea of where these illicit drugs are coming from. You can call us and tell us. I know the Ghana Police Service is watching us this morning, and so you will help in our investigations. Clement.
So maybe as I was saying, I was like, let's. As a country, it's good that our borders it's very secured. It's a good one for them. The customs, the narcotic control, the national security, and all of them. They've done a good job. For someone to import suspected ceiling fans, and now they realize it's not a ceiling fan, but rather it is drugs. They should tell that it is organized crime.
Exactly.
What we call it's something they've calculated.
And it's coming into this country.
Exactly. So when this thing lands into this country, who suffers? It's the youth.
Exactly.
It's the youth.
That is the problem, Peter.
Yes, so with everything, I like to go back. Not because I want to elongate my
Peter, please,
my submission or
time.
something. But the fact is that there are issues in this country that we need to solve. We know how it started. We always wait for something to happen before we act. This issue about this illicit drugs and all, it didn't start with criminals, actually. It started with heroes. Way back in the 1940s when the military men after the Second World War, when they were coming, they brought, seeds of this marijuana and all that. That is where it started from. And looking at the transatlantic slave trade, Ghana became the middleman between Europe and Asian countries and all that. And so when they smuggled this cocaine and heroin, they passed through Ghana. And then when you pass through, at least some will drop. And that's where we started having these ghettos, the Nima and then the Ashama and thing.
Okay.
And then you see this, because of time, I won't go through the illicit drugs we've encountered in this country. But what we have to look at is the status of the corporates and the prosecution. Now that it has been intercepted, they have to conduct investigation to know who is behind it. Once they find who is behind it, what happens? So, as of 2025, NACWAC reported 163 arrests in 109 cases, but only 5 secured conviction by year end, with sentencing ranging from 6 years to life. And then for pending trial, as of late 2025, nearly 50 cases remained pending in various courts. What are the challenges? Prosecution often takes years due to overstretched attorneys, failure of witness to appear, and sometimes high-profile cases being inexplicable. So we know the causes of, these issues in terms of our porous borders, and then people with power, people with authority, interference, and all that. So people are even saying that once this is an organized crime, you understand? People are aware. We know the people who are involved. So once this one comes to the news and it dies, the owners will go for it.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be like that. We should
problem.
account for things like this. Going forward, we should learn better and help to avert
it all
some
boils
of these
down
days.
to law enforcement
And like Clement
institutions
said,
we have.
we
in
the
country.
youth suffers.
Exactly.
We suffer.
At the end of the day, they are bringing it to us.
Smoke and do all sort of things.
But if we don't have them in the system, where are you going to get it? So you have to change. Oba Sakra.
It's yes, easier. It's like a baby of Fibano. You block your hole. That's what we will see. We shouldn't let the tap flow. Close it.
Then even talking about
Peter,
our various borders. When we are talking about law enforcement, we should also talk about, do they have the requisite tools, equipment to be able to determine? Because if I'm an immigration officer, you can't put me at the borders without how do you call it?
Yeah.
The requisite. So some people, they are being deployed to the outside, but because when they look at the risk involved, they won't go.
They won't go. Yeah. That's how come it was able to move from one port into our ports. But thankfully, we have, the personnel. We have qualified men who will not allow these things to pass us by. And so we are commending the immigration service, the custom, everyone involved, the Ghana police, everyone. We are commending them for their good job. They should keep doing that. And we'll also be bringing you more updates as when this development will come up. And so thank you so much. That has been our show, or this has been our show for today here on the Koko Digest Morning Show. Yaira Awuno was here earlier. We had Benedict Nketia Kwarteng, and then Clement Abankwe and Peter Kojo Insia. I am Miriam Abena Adede. See you same time on Tuesday. Bye.